Well, well, well. So the draft is coming very quickly, and the rumors continue to rise about the Dallas Cowboys. And one thing to me seems to be for sure, or at least it's going to be an option for the Dallas Cowboys. As much as the Dallas Cowboys want to trade up into what seems to be the top five, the teams in the top five seem to want to trade out of the top five. And so it will not only be the Dallas Cowboys, but it will be other teams that will have options also. But that the Dallas Cowboys with that number 12 pick, even though it's not the greatest position for us if the great players are not on the board, but nevertheless, it's going to be a great pick to be able to trade up and probably get inside of the top five. We're going to talk about a new team that has entered into the trade discussion as it applies to the Dallas Cowboys and possibly getting Arvell Reese. Let's talk, Cowboys. We're about to talk facts. Hey, let's go. Hey, let's go. Man, it is heating up. I told y'all this is why we are going to have ourselves a draft party on the first night of the draft. It is heating up. Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy hitters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And as you come into this live stream, please hit that like button, hit that hype button, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know the next time we post another video or go live. And if you haven't become a member yet or subscriber yet, what are you waiting on? We have a lot of great things coming up this season. Now let's talk facts. I actually got a lot more than what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to put some of it in video form rather than covering all of it today or in this particular session. But today, we're going to deal with this issue of Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman, all of a sudden, I mean, this was on DLLS, I guess it is. Troy Aikman was on DLLS and he was talking about being a consultant or whatever he is. I don't know what he is for the Miami Dolphins. And continuing to do that job while he is a broadcaster. Well, Stephen A. Smith has got some words for the Dallas Cowboys. I got some words for Stephen A. Smith. And then over there on NFL on NBC, I think they make a very good point about why this may be a problem. So, next up, we're going to talk about there is a rumor out there and a suggestion out there that the Cowboys trade up into the number 2 spot. And I don't know if they would get Arvell Reese, but I would assume if you're trading into the number 2 spot, you're definitely trying to get Arvell Reese. Man, I'm going to tell you, we're going to spend some time talking about Arvell Reese because I found some pretty negative. I mean, there's some good stuff out there about Arvell Reese. We're going to watch a little bit of film on Arvell Reese. But I've also seen some negative things out there about Arvell Reese, and we're going to talk about that. And also, as we talk about all of these trades, are they too much? I mean, will the Cowboys have to give up too much to get up at number 2, number 3, or at number 6? Are the Cowboys giving up too much draft capital? And then we're going to just kind of top this thing off. If you could get to the number 2 or the number 3 spot, and let's just say number 2, because if you get the number 3, you aren't getting Arvell Reese. We're going to finally talk about Cowboys fans. If you had the choice to go to number 2 or go to number 3, would you get to number 3, give up less, get David Bailey, or would you give up number 2 and go get Arvell Reese, but give up more draft capital? And even then, you don't have to get those 2. Who would you get? Would you get Sonny Styles? Would you get Caleb Downs? Would you get Jeremiah Love? Who would you get at that position? We're going to talk about that and more today on Let's talk Cowboys. Yeah, let's go. Let's get it. Hey, let's go. Let's get this quick roll call in. All right, get this roll. Well, I thought I was getting my roll call in. I might have messed up my roll call screen earlier doing something. Oh, well, we can get that roll call in without looking at that particular screen. Hey, yay, let's get it. All right, let's get a quick roll call in real quick. Dominique Pittman, what's going on with you? Good to see you. Terry Tatum, what's going on? Big Moss Dog, what up, Big Moss Dog? John Henry, what's going on? Reading Zanguini, hey, it is the real estate vet. Hey, we them boys. Hey, we them boys. Let me tell you something, man. I'm working on a song. I'm working on a Dallas Cowboys song for when the season start, man. You remember that song, We Them Boys? Man, I got something else. I got a new tune me and my son gonna be working on. It's gonna be crazy. What's going on, Mose Logan? Carl Williams. What's going on, Manuel Trillo? What's going on, Steven Gibson? 5 points of the star. Doomsday. Man, we might about to bring that Doomsday defense back. Hey, Doomsday, I'm telling you, I think the Cowboys may uncharacteristically trade up. Golden Lion Eagles, what's going on? He said, look, wait. He said, hey, no move back yet. Picks and draft McCoy and Allen, they are dogs. Hey, don't forget Thieneman's gonna be there too. What's going on? Mike said this. What's going on? What's going on, Jack Evans, Davion Wallace, Frank Lawrence, what up? What's going on, Roland Rothschild? What is going on? You know, this is something else that people are saying, Roland Rothschild. There aren't enough elite players in this draft. There are people that are saying this. Yeah. And in any other year, Roland, being at number 12, I mean, you'd be like, yeah, you know, and it's not like you can't get some good players. But elite players, I don't know, at number 12, you're going to be probably out of the race. Ronnie Dub, what's going on? What's going on? Cowboys Nation, what is going on? 1982, good to see you. Let me put a star by this. You just said something about GP. John Jones, he said, what up? I said, it's a New Jack City. What's going on? Pokey, Cowboys Celtics, what's going on with you? Hallelujah. What is going on? Salute. What's going on? Kippy, what's going on, Kippy? Good to see you. Q-Tip, what's going on? Trade the number 12 and the 20 for the 3 or the 6 and the 3rd rounder. Yeah, we're going to talk about it. Dallas 88, what's going on? Good to see you. Junior, my man, what's going on? He said no trade up. Football fanatic, what's going on? Yeah. Hey, the boys is back. Hey, you're going to be surprised when you hear the new song coming up about the Dallas Cowboys. Coming up, me and my son have coming up when the season gets closer. What's going on, Mike? What's going on, Mike Rivas? What's going on? Depends on what it costs. I prefer moving down and gaining picks. Dak fan for life, what's up? All right, I appreciate y'all rocking with me today. Give yourselves a hand. Best chat on YouTube. Hey, let's get this thing started. Whether it be 1 or 100, we're going to talk Cowboys. So, you know, I'd already seen this thing with Troy Aikman and the interview on DLLS. I'll be honest with you.
Troy Aikman spoke recently.
I'll be honest with you. I have no, you know, I don't dislike DLLS or anything like that. I'm just not a huge follower of them. But nevertheless, they were the ones, and it was Clarence Hill who kind of did this interview with one Troy Aikman, and he was talking about this thing about working with the Miami Dolphins and all of this stuff right there. Yeah, I did see that thing about Dexter Lawrence. We them boys. Too bad we've already got our defensive tackle. But I'll tell you this: I'm not mad that he won't be in the division. I hope he gets out of the division. I hope somebody gets him. That is not only in the NFC East, but I hope he is not in the NFC. He's pretty good. But I'd already heard this thing about Troy Aikman, and I kind of saw a little something on it. I didn't really think anything of it. But now all of a sudden, Stephen A. Smith is making a big deal out of it. And I even say, even in what Troy Aikman said, I'm starting to kind of I am starting to feel a little bit type of way about this as it applies to one Troy Aikman. Y'all got to realize something about Troy Aikman. And this is no hate on Troy Aikman, but y'all got to realize something about Troy Aikman. For as much as Troy Aikman loves the Dallas Cowboys, I mean, I would dare say he can't help but love the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, he absolutely got 3 Super Bowls with them and really should love Jerry Jones, because if it wasn't for Jerry Jones, he might not have been the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, Jimmy was ready to move on after the season when he got hurt. And who was it? The quarterback, I always had, help me remember, was it Berline maybe? Anyway, the backup quarterback came in, got the Cowboys, they went on a run, got to the playoffs, won a playoff game, and Jimmy, even in the documentary, said, well, I was just trying to win. It wouldn't have mattered to Jerry. I mean, I'm not saying it wouldn't have mattered to Jimmy, but Jimmy, the thing that mattered the most to Jimmy was winning. And whether it was with Troy Aikman or without Troy Aikman, but it was Jerry who said it, hey, Troy Aikman is the quarterback here. But nevertheless, Troy Aikman is, you can tell it's like he's got a little animosity out there. And I think a little bit of animosity is when Jerry brought in when Jerry let go of Jimmy Johnson and brought in Barry Switzer. Y'all might not remember this, but if you go back and look at the documentary, Troy Aikman was leading the charge on the criticism of Barry Switzer. And this doesn't get talked about enough. But for as much as these players got a lot of respect for Troy Aikman, they had some respect for Barry Switzer too. And they didn't like how people were coming at Barry Switzer, in particular Troy Aikman. And this is why when they got that Super Bowl, they were, it was the Michael Irvins and the Emmitt Smiths and some of these other players saying, give Barry Switzer his credit. Well, Troy never was happy about that. And so, again, Troy Aikman, he's working for the Miami Dolphins. And so you can tell there, people need clicks, likes, and content. And this story was, if I'm not mistaken, this story was last week. I actually thought it was a nothing burger. I really didn't care too much about what Troy Aikman said about it. And like I said, again, it was on DLLS, and I don't really watch them a whole lot. And so I saw some of it, and I just kind of, okay, big deal. Well, now Stephen A. Smith is making a big deal about it. So let's check out the story that they got on this thing running with Troy Aikman. And then we're going to go to the NFL on NBC. And I think they actually make a more compelling case about not why this is a good move, but why this could be a problem for the NFL. Check this out.
Podcast addressing his new role with the Miami Dolphins and if he was ever approached for a similar role by the Cowboys. Here was his response.
I think the Dolphins were wise in understanding my relationships around the league and knowing that I have information that they don't have or can't get. And I think
now, and guys, no hate on Troy Aikman, but wait a minute now, Troy Aikman. Wait, hold on a second. Troy Aikman says that the Miami Dolphins were wise, I'm assuming, in hiring him because he has information that they're not privy to. Keep that and put it in your cap as we unfold this story.
They were smart in taking advantage of that, whether it was through me or through somebody else. The Cowboys have never elected to do that, at least with me.
Right.
You know, maybe they have with others, but
Now. Wait a minute. Now, I was gonna let this story go, man, but hey, since we going here, Troy Aikman. Since we going here, Troy Aikman. Miami Dolphins and Wise in the same conversation. Come on, man. This is not about the Miami Dolphins, if you ask me, as much as this is Troy Aikman taking a shot at Jerry Jones because Jerry Jones hasn't consulted him. Wise and the Miami Dolphins. Bulky Cowboys, Celtics. Man, come on, man. Come on, man. Wise and the Miami Dolphins. I mean, what have they just done? I mean, they traded Waddle. They were the ones, let go of Tyreek Hill. Extended to a Tagovailoa. They are having a fire sale right now. I mean, what, Troy Aikman, did you have something to do with the new head coach that they hired? I mean, come on, man. Come on, man. I'm telling you, man, being bitter is, boy, I'm just telling you. Being bitter will make you say some things sometimes that you probably shouldn't say. I mean, come on, Troy. Troy, what kind of information, and he said just like others, but what information could you have, Troy Aikman, that you're going to help the Miami Dolphins get better? I mean, I was going to let this go, but man, wait until y'all hear what Stephen A. Smith even says about this. Because even Troy Aikman is like, yeah, man, the Miami Dolphins were smart. Hold on, let's translate this. Yeah, and the Cowboys were dumb. Come on, man. Come on, man. We are boys. He said he's going to help him fix that cap. Come on, man. Freddie Morales, El Chuco in the crib. Freddie says, Troy's always been hurt because Jerry won't name him as GM. You know what, though? There may be an ounce of truth to that. And not necessarily the GM. But, I mean, come on, man. Come on. I'm just rolling on this right here. Day one, he said, got a new GM and a head coach. He helped us with fans up. Day one, come on, man. Come on, man. Day one, I appreciate you being here, but we're going to go a little bit further on this in just a moment. Let's just listen to some more of this, because I'm gonna give you some more insight on this that don't make sense in what he's saying. Just listen.
But no, I don't feel there's a conflict, but I will say I'm pulling for the Dolphins.
It's that statement right there. It's that statement right there. See, the NFL is opening up a can of worms. And where they are opening up this can of worms is in allowing commentators who get the opportunity to be inside of locker rooms of other players. This came up with Tom Brady. They're in the locker room of other players of other teams, and they're privy to conversations. If you don't think they're hearing conversations, not just in what they're playing on the television shows or what they're revealing as they're doing games, they're also privy to conversations that are being had off the record. They're getting inside information. And there were people that were criticizing even Tom Brady because people were saying that Tom Brady was getting inside information and going back to the Raiders and just kind of dropping little nuggets here and there about the locker rooms of the teams that he's been in. So where is the integrity of Troy Aikman? Troy Aikman gets to go into a locker room every single week of the football season. Every city he goes to, he's interviewing, he's getting inside information, he's getting plays and blah, blah, blah. And now he just told you out of his own mouth, I'll tell you this, I'm going for the Dolphins. NFL. The NFL should step in at that very moment. Troy Aikman, you don't get to go into another locker room. You don't get any extra insight or any extra anything as it applies to any other team in this league. From this point forward, the only thing you're going to be able to get anything from is the film that everyone else can get. But other than that, no more locker rooms, no more talking to this coach and that coach and this coach, that player and this player, no more of that stuff. The NFL they're doing this to themselves. They're doing this to themselves, and it's stupid. First you got first you got Tom Brady. Now you got Troy Aikman. Stop this stuff right now. Stop it. Stop it. Because I want y'all to understand, Troy Aikman I don't know what else you have to tell the NFL. Did y'all hear what Troy Aikman is saying? I know stuff. Well, how do you know it, Troy? How do you know it, Troy? Why would Troy know things that other people wouldn't know? Why? Because people are picking up the phone calling Troy Aikman? No. Because Troy Aikman, on a week-to-week basis, when the season is going on, he's in locker rooms. He's talking to coaches. He's talking to players on the record and off the record. This is the argument they were having about Tom Brady. And when Troy Aikman himself says, I'll tell you this, I'm going for the Dolphins, no more all access for you. No more all access for you. A lot of us better realize something about these commentators. They're very tapped in. And they can be even more tapped in if they're willing to put in more work. Troy Aikman is very tapped in. Now, as it applies to Troy Aikman and picking, somebody for the Dolphins just said, welcome to the chat, talking about, he helped us with our GM and our coach. Man, come on. Come on. If you telling me that's what Troy Aikman did, I'm not even worried about that stuff. I'm not worried about Troy and player evaluation. So what? So what? I don't care about his player evaluation. My issue becomes with Troy Aikman. He just played his hand. I know stuff that the Dolphins. Well, how do you know stuff the Dolphins don't know? Simple, because you're getting information that other people don't get. It's crazy. The NFL is absolutely nuts for allowing this kind of stuff to occur as it applies to Tom Brady and Troy Aikman. But you know the thing that I really find to be funny? I got another great point on this as we keep listening. You know the thing that I really find to be funny? I don't really remember Stephen A. Smith really making this into that big of a deal when Tom Brady became got a part of the Raiders. I don't.
Pulling for the Dolphins. Dan Orlowski's with us now. Are Aikman's comments an indictment? Yes?
First of all, good morning to Dan. We want to say good morning. I didn't see you this weekend. I found you when UConn was the basketball capital of the world a week ago.
Correct.
I didn't see you this weekend, didn't hear from you or anything. I just wanted to say that. But now you can go on to your football point. It's good to see you. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, Hold on. Okay, is these comments by Aikman an indictment on Jerry Jones and the Cowboys? What do you think?
I do not find them to be an indictment. Great to see you, Stephen A. as well, Shay as well. You'll hear from me tonight, hopefully by 11:30 p.m.
I absolutely agree with Dan Orlovsky on this. Why would this be a knock on Jerry Jones? This is one of the reasons why I don't watch DLLS. I don't really watch them a whole lot. And the reason why I don't watch them a whole lot is because I don't know. I guess they're supposed to be, I really don't know what they are at this point. I don't know if they're for the Cowboys or against the Cowboys, or are they just reporting on the Cowboys? I really don't know what DLLS is in the grand scheme of things. I'm not saying anything negative about them. I just don't really know what they are. But when I hear them from time to time, a lot of their rhetoric seems to be pointed at negativity as it applies to the Cowboys. A lot of their rhetoric to me seems to be negative towards the Dallas Cowboys. And so it's like they're always, and I don't want to maybe use the word always, but it seems like there are many times for me, or there are times when they are trying to paint the Cowboys into a negative picture and put them in a negative light. And always, saying things about Jerry Jones, the front office. And, I've noticed sometimes, even when I'm watching these guys like Jerry and Steven answer Clarence Hill even, I mean, it's like they're kind of like, yeah, man, we know what you wrote. We know what you said. But, they roll with that stuff, because Jerry kind of likes some of the publicity. But you can tell that sometimes it just feels like to me that they're not really Anyway, Papa Sugar, you got to understand, they got this from DLLS. They got this from DLLS. And again, you may think it's good content. I'm not going to knock you on thinking that I'm not going to knock you on if you like DLS, you like what you want to like. I'm not going to tell you not to like them. I'm not going to tell you don't like them, don't subscribe. I don't do that type of stuff. I'm just telling you when I have listened to some of the things they've said in the past. And they always try to paint the Cowboys in a certain light. And Troy Aikman, he goes on DLLS to talk about the fact that you got to understand, why would DLLS go out of their way to talk to Troy Aikman? It's not going out of their way to talk to Troy Aikman, but they want to bring up the point about the Miami Dolphins. And don't care hey, it's Troy Aikman's prerogative, but the NFL needs to step in. Because Troy Aikman literally just played his hand. He just played his hand in saying, go Dolphins, and I got information that the Dolphins don't have. The question the NFL needs to address is, well, how do you have it? How do you have that information? how do you have it? Because it seems like you're getting that information not because you're an insider. You're an insider because you're a commentator getting paid to go in and give commentary on games, get insight for commentary on games. And this is business, not personal. I don't know what kind of person Troy Aikman is. I don't know what kind of person Tom Brady is. All I know is I say Tom Brady is the GOAT. I say Troy Aikman is a Hall of Fame quarterback. But if you're going to try to get me to measure their integrity versus my business, well, I'm putting business before these men's integrity. And as it applies to my business, I'm not going to let you corrupt the business and letting you use inside information that you get for the job of commentating. And I'm not even going to trust you, or I'm not going to trust you or not trust you with that information to say, well, Troy Aikman is such a good guy, there's no way he'll give the Dolphins any inside information. So I wouldn't if I were the NFL, I would actually step in on things like this and say, nah, Troy Aikman, you know what? You're not going to be able to. I'm putting some limitations on Troy Aikman's job. But again, I don't think this is about Troy Aikman. And I know where even ESPN is using this. This isn't about Troy Aikman working for the Miami Dolphins. Because when I heard he was working for the Dolphins, I really didn't care. I mean, okay, it's a good idea. I mean, Troy probably is, he's got a good football mind. Okay, no big deal. They're going to talk to Troy because I'm thinking it's going to be about talent acquisition. But Troy just said, if you listen to him, this isn't just about talent acquisition. He's got inside info on teams. And the league needs to step in. But again, man, this isn't about Troy working for Miami. This is about Troy Aikman not working for Dallas. And he seems to be a little put off by the fact that he's not working for Dallas. And Stephen A. Smith is going to fight that fight in the court of public opinion. But I like what Dan Orlovsky is saying. It's not a loss. Who cares?
I don't find this to be an indictment on Dallas. I think there's a couple things. One, players certainly of Troy's caliber being in some type of these advisor roles feels like it's being a little bit more common nowadays. I know obviously Tom Brady with the Las Vegas Raiders is in an ownership role, so he's got some of that advisor and or consultant element. I'm sure part of it, he's not doing it in New England, probably because my guess couldn't become some of an owner in that. But I do think it's a little bit more common nowadays. I think the second thing in Dallas is it's a family business. I mean, if you just the chain of command in Dallas feels like it goes Jerry Jones, maybe to his wife, Stephen Jones, somebody else that has Jones. And so it's very much so the family business. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I don't think the Cowboys are taking this massive miss. And
I don't either.
Point that I wanted to
really
talk
don't.
about Stephen A. is it maybe a little bit too close to the vest? He's one of the great Cowboys of all time. If you bring in one of the great Cowboys of all time, and there's a long list of them, does that mean you have to open the door for another person, another ex-great Cowboy that wants to have a say in the organization? And then do you have to say yes to that person? So I think it's the Pandora box of, if you open it up to Troy, does it mean that it's opened up to everybody else?
Well, I get where you're coming from, but that doesn't mean that it's any less egregious that the Dallas Cowboys have not capitalized on the presence and the expertise of a quarterback, a former quarterback who happens to be a 3-time Super Bowl champion, who, by the way, is still intimately connected to the game because he's calling games and giving color commentary every Monday night for the last several years here, and every Sunday when he was at Fox. I mean, what the hell are you thinking? You capitalize off of the assets that you have. This is one of your own if you're Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones, it's not just his family. Jerry Jones considers members of the Dallas Cowboys as an extended family. If that would apply to anybody, it would be Troy Aikman.
See, this is where Stephen A. Smith doesn't understand what's going on. I don't think there is necessarily an issue between Jerry and Troy, but in some respects, I don't think there's any love lost between Troy and Jerry either, because Troy has been critical of Jerry at every return. Now, Jerry can take it because Jerry is got duck feathers, man. Stuff just rolls off of him. But why would Jerry? What would make Jerry say, yeah, I'm bringing Troy inside? If there was anybody that Jerry would bring inside to help with decision making, it would actually be Michael Irvin. It wouldn't be. I just don't think it would be Troy Aikman. And again, Stephen A. Smith is spelling this out too. Yeah, man, because Troy's tapped into the game and he's got these inside information. What are you talking about, man? The thing that he should be with the Dolphins for is player acquisition. Player acquisition. What else would he be talking to him about? And even then, I'll give my final comments after Stephen A. Smith. We're not going to listen to the whole interview. I'm going to let you hear what he says. Oh, and the funny part is y'all talking about Stephen A. Smith's hairline. Don't worry. Stephen A. Smith talked about his own hairline in this conversation.
who is a brilliant football mind. We are incredibly, incredibly lucky to have him. And if you're Jerry Jones, damn, it's one of your own. When you click on the TV, where do you not see Troy Aikman? How the hell do you let him go to the Miami Dolphins? The Miami Dolphins, when you haven't won a Super Bowl championship since 1996, when Bill Clinton was president. Okay? It was January 28th, 1996. I had an afro and my hairline was about 2 feet forward. That is the last time the Dallas Cowboys have won a Super Bowl championship. It was also the last time they were in any kind of championship game. That was a conference championship game. That was a Super Bowl. They have not been in either. And over the course of 30 years, before Jerry Jones' hair was gray, when Stephen Jones still looked like a puppy, you're trying to tell me all of this time has passed and it never occurred to you that, you know what? Look at these Dallas Cowboys that I have produced Super Bowls for me. Maybe I should employ one of them at the very least as a consultant answerable to me so I can steal knowledge from them. It's dumb that they didn't do that.
Yes, Steve?
Okay, I agree with you. The two questions I'll ask just to kind of be on an opposite side of it is, again, one, if you allow Troy to do it, does it open the door for others? I think that's probably a fair assessment. I think the second thing is, I wonder if the Cowboys knew that this was legal. I mean, I didn't necessarily.
Oh,
I think this became more.
Oh, please.
No, I'm being honest,
don't do that last part. Don't do that. This is Jerry Jones. This is Jerry Jones, who prides himself in serving.
Now, I'm not going to listen to the whole thing. I want you to hear a little bit of what they said on NFL on NBC because they have a more professional take on this. Stephen A. Smith is just talking out of principalities. You know, oh, he's an ex-Cowboy, 3-time Super Bowl winner. But let me put this. Let me say this. Michael Jeffrey Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time, at least in my opinion. Michael Jordan bought the Charlotte Hornets. And for everything that Michael Jordan is great at, he's great at basketball, he's great at business, he has a multi-billion-dollar shoe empire. We're still buying his shoes. For all of the things that Michael Jordan is great at, you want to know something that Michael Jordan isn't great at? Talent acquisition. Michael Jordan could not do anything with the Charlotte Hornets. Couldn't do anything. He didn't win no championships with the Charlotte Hornets. What did he do? He did absolutely nothing as the owner of the Charlotte Hornets. It's amazing to me. Stephen A. is talking about Jerry Jones. You know what else I find to be strange? Why didn't Bill Kraft, or why didn't Kraft, why didn't he give Tom Brady ownership or 1% ownership in the New England Patriots? Why? Why? Because Kraft understands something. Tom Brady may be the GOAT of all quarterbacks. He knows football inside and out. Does that mean he knows talent acquisition? What do they know about talent acquisition? Who says Troy Aikman knows anything about talent acquisition? What is the track record of Tom Brady? What is the track record of Troy Aikman? What is the track record of Matt Ryan that somebody says We're going to bring these 3 quarterbacks in as what? Consulting of what? This is stupid. Stupid. Man, I didn't even, you know what? If you're talking talent and maybe you're saying, hey, what do you think about this quarterback? Or what do you think about this wide receiver? Or what do you think about this? But as far as bringing them in a consultant position and really making it that serious, man, forget it. Man, great players don't equate into great owners, great GMs, or great anything. I mean, I guess Troy is about to get an opportunity to show us what he's going to do with the Miami Dolphins. But what I do say is that the NFL, and I do think they need to step in on this. I'm not as concerned about Troy Aikman working for the Miami Dolphins. Only time I'd be concerned about Troy Aikman working for the Miami Dolphins is if the Miami Dolphins are playing the Dallas Cowboys. Now, if they're playing the Dallas Cowboys and Troy Aikman is calling the game, I'm really going to have some problems. Especially if he got to go into the Dallas Cowboys locker room and did some talking because, man, somebody said this earlier. They give these guys players and they give these guys plays and stuff, man, so that they can talk about it in these conversations on television. And you can't be letting somebody with that type of inside information work for a team and then talking about, yeah, man, and I tell you this, I'm going for the Dolphins. Nah, bruh. Nah, you're gonna everything needs to be off limits for you from that point forward. You don't get that type of inside information no more.
I've already put the cart before the horse or the horse before the cart or whatever the case may be. Here's Troy Aikman talking to Clarence Hill about his role with the Miami Dolphins.
I've said this before. I think all franchise quarterbacks that have been in the league for any length of time, I think we all come out of the game thinking that we could run a teeth and know what it takes. And certainly.
Now, I want you to think about this. He said all franchise quarterbacks. Now, some of these franchise quarterbacks need to understand something. The reason why they are the quarterbacks that they are is because somebody acquired talent for them. They didn't choose the talent. And that people put talent all around them. Troy Aikman is one of these players that he was loaded down with talent. Troy Aikman really had no excuse but to succeed. Troy was loaded down not only with talent, he was loaded down with dogs. Troy was loaded with dogs. He had a dog of a coach, brought in a dog of a coaching staff, and they coached dog players. Oh, come on, man. When you get put in that situation, I'm not knocking Troy. I'm just telling us there are other great quarterbacks. If you would have put them in that situation, they would have won too. They absolutely would have won too. Troy Aikman has got a football mind. Yes, I give that to him. Michael Jordan has a basketball mind. Michael Jordan can explain basketball, I guarantee you, give you all kinds of insight. But when it's his time to choose the acquisition of players, Michael couldn't do it. Michael couldn't do it. Because I'm sure Michael was thinking just like Troy Aikman is thinking. There's a reason why, and we're mad at the Cowboys. We're mad, and not all of us, but some people are trying to, or Stephen A. Smith is trying to get Cowboys fans to be mad at the Cowboys. And I even think this was kind of what this was even with DLLS in a sense, trying to get people mad at the front office and mad at the Cowboys because they won't put Troy Aikman in the front office. Meanwhile, 31 other teams out there in the league, where are all the ex-quarterbacks who are working in the front offices and player acquisition? Where are all the other quarterbacks? Where are they? Why don't all the other teams have quarterbacks in the front office? Why don't they? There is more to player acquisition than just having a good football mind. And we better understand something. A lot of the stuff that Troy Aikman is talking about up there in the booth, yes, some of that is coming from football knowledge, but some of that is coming from inside material that they're giving him. They're giving him specific plays. They're giving him specific backstories. Man, y'all better understand some things about these doggone commentators. These commentators aren't as smart as we think they are. Tony Romo is a prime example. Tony Romo, in the first 2 seasons of being out of football, you could hear it. It was football knowledge from things that he had been doing over the last few years. Has anybody not noticed how much the fan bases are complaining about Tony Romo now? Because as much of a football mind that Tony Romo has, Tony Romo is getting further and further from the game. So the stuff that Tony Romo really needs, and a lot of people were saying that Tony isn't doing his homework. Tony isn't taking the material that they're giving him and some of the access that they're giving him and bringing it to the game and using it during the commentary of the game. That's why Tony don't sound the way Tony used to sound. And this is why a lot of people have been tripping on Tony. But Troy is using a lot of that material. He's using a lot of that material. And it's funny to me that even Troy himself is like, yeah, man, you know, Miami did a real smart thing in hiring me. Really? What have you done? We're not talking about on the field, Troy. What have you done off the field that says Miami was smart in acquiring Troy Aikman? What? What has he done? It's the same thing with Tom Brady. For as much as I say Tom Brady is the GOAT, he's got an ownership stake in the Raiders. But what has Tom Brady really done? What has Tom Brady done to warrant the Raiders when it comes to player acquisition saying, hey, Tom, you know, we really think you know a lot about player acquisition because you got 7 Super Bowls or however many times, I don't know, I may have lost count. You got 7 Super Bowls and you play with all these great players. Tom, you go and just run our draft for us. What? Y'all do know under the Tom Brady watch that Pete Carroll became the coach and Geno Smith became the quarterback. Come on, man. This is nonsense, man. This is pure nonsense. For as much as I love Troy Aikman, what has he done for anybody to say, yeah, man, shoot, have Troy working in your front office and have him giving you direction on your players? Nah, this is pure comedy, man.
I haven't been a part of some championship teams, and I know what a locker room feels like and what a winning locker room should be like. And so I really thought I would go in that direction when I was getting out of football, but because of things in my personal life, it kept me from really being able to devote time in that way. But in the back of my mind, I kind of hoped it had come along, and then you know, I was so far removed at this particular time, I didn't think it would ever happen.
Now, did you hear what Troy said? How far removed? See, Stephen A. Smith don't know what he's talking about. These guys aren't as tapped in as people think they are. Troy just said, as far removed from the game that I am now. And understand something. See, Troy don't understand the privilege that he had. He had the privilege of being under Jerry Jones when winning was the only thing that mattered. Being with Jimmy Johnson when it was winning is the only thing that matters. Just because you saw Jimmy Johnson, just because you were around Jimmy Johnson, that don't give you the mind of Jimmy Johnson. Because I got news for all of us. Jerry Jones was around Jimmy Johnson, and Jerry thought because he had been around Jimmy that he could do what Jimmy did. I'm telling y'all right now, there are not a lot of people on this earth that could do what Jimmy did. Bottom line. Bottom line, man. And so again, Troy is even letting us in on something. It's what he thought about himself. This is not about the Dallas Cowboys if you think about it. What other teams are doing this? Why aren't ex-quarterbacks over the last 20 to 30 years? Why are ex-quarterbacks not the GMs of teams today? You don't have to play this game to be a GM. Player evaluation, player acquisition, contracts, and all of that jazz. That is something totally different than somebody who has played the game, understands football. Those are two totally different things. Sometimes these guys are too close to the game. They're too close to the game. And they don't even realize it themselves. They're too close to the game to be able to do some of the things that they think they can do outside of the game. Now, I'll tell you what I would do if I were the Cowboys. Now, this is where I fault the Cowboys to a degree. If it were me, I've talked about this before, I would have these Super Bowl players hanging around my facility all the time. I would ask Troy Aikman to hang around my facility in the offseason. I'd even pay him. I'd pay him to hang around the facility. I'd pay him to hang around the quarterback room, to be there so Dak Prescott could bounce things off of Troy Aikman. Hey, ask Troy Aikman this. Maybe I would love for Michael Irvin to be with the Dallas Cowboys during this training camp. Just being in the presence of those wide receivers, them bouncing things off of Mike giving them little tidbits of information, giving them little pointers. I would love for Emmitt Smith to be in the running, hang around this facility during the running, in the running back room, at training camp. I'd love for Darren Woodson to hang around our safeties. I would love for the Cowboys to hire them in those capacities. But come on, man. Giving information on talent acquisition, especially outside of the position that they play, come on, man. This is an absolute joke. It absolutely is. Frank Lawrence says, Cowboy Nation, let me make it a viral thing. Burn them, Troy. I mean, I'm not even that. I mean, I have no issue with Troy Aikman. This isn't about Troy Aikman. But Troy Aikman seems to be a little bit bitter that the Cowboys didn't hire him in that capacity. You know, bragging that he gets insider information from other teams and pass it on to the Dolphins. I mean, this is the part that don't make sense. The NFL has heard this, and the NFL has got to step in and do something about this. Demetrius Noel said, gee, they should use Stephen A. Smith $20 million salary to feed the homeless because he's a complete disgrace. Man, you know what? I'm just telling you now, Demetrius, Stephen A. Smith is an entertainer. They don't have him for any sports knowledge whatsoever. He is merely an entertainer. That's all it is. Larry Golden said, I'll say it again, the only Dean Troy, it's good and he's good at commentating, and that's it. He doesn't know dog crap about talent acquisition. He's blown his horn so he can make more money. That's it. Man, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy to me. Dave said Troy thinks Will McClay should be GM. Oh, I got you on that. I got you. JCT, he said that Cowboys should trade for Bailey. We need that type of speed, athleticism to go after athletic quarterbacks in our division. Yeah, you made a great point the other day. We're gonna look at that in just a moment. I just want to let you hear this last part that what's his name is making here about Troy Aikman, because it really makes a lot of sense.
Scratch that itch, but I don't have any ownership. I don't have the influence, if you will, that Tom seemingly has there with the Raiders. So it looks similar, but I'm not so sure that it is.
Oh, I think you do, Troy.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
I think he got more influence than Tom because Tom isn't doing anything. Tom had this long newsletter last week about how he's struggling to find balance. And if anything, he's going to do less with the Raiders, I think, not more.
Yeah.
Tom's in a position to exercise influence, but this is one of the things we've been talking about. Like, Mark Davis may have expected something from Tom Brady very different than what he's getting from Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Troy Aikman, as you said, he's all in. He's all ball. He's got skin in the game now. We got another clip that's going to come up here in a second where, he is all in with the Miami Dolphins. And this is the reality. And again, as long as the league allows it, this is what happens.
Yeah.
When you let something occur and you shrug at it, and then all of a sudden it becomes a thing, you put yourself in a position where you got to admit you made a mistake.
Yeah.
And I don't know that the league likes to do that. People generally don't like to do that. It's hard to do that. It's hard to admit you were wrong. But they've let this cat out of the bag or Pandora out of the box. And you know what happens?
Yes.
Yeah, she's out.
Once you open Pandora's box,
she's
out
freaking
there.
out.
She's
she
everywhere.
is, no doubt about it. Now, and I don't know how much the ownership aspect changes things.
See, and this is exactly right, and we're going to move on to our next segment. But this is exactly right, and this is the problem with this. This is absolutely the problem with this. Troy Aikman just put the league on notice. He's going for the Dolphins, and he's got inside information. This is not about players. The league can't let a commentator. This isn't about Troy. This is the issue with Tom Brady. See, Tom Brady isn't just a part owner of the Raiders. He's a commentator for Fox. You can't let Tom Brady, who is the part owner of the Raiders, get inside information on other teams. Not to mention, how many questionable things went on with the Patriots when Tom Brady was there? Come on, man. Keep honest men honest. Do not entrust Troy. Do not entrust Tom Brady. Don't entrust Matt Ryan. Don't entrust them with having the job of commentators, inside information week to week on every single team, and then trusting them to say, surely they won't go give that information to the team that they're working for. Stop it. There are so many ramifications, so many minefields on this with the betting and crazy stuff that's going on in this game. This is the last thing that this league needs to have going on. They just need to stop this stuff. Just need to stop it. This is exactly what this guy's talking about over here on NFL Talk. It's stupid. They need to stop it. Keep honest men honest. Oh, it's Troy Aikman. Surely he won't. You don't know what Troy Aikman will do. The man just told you he's going for the Dolphins. If I'm going for the Dolphins, then I'm going for the Dolphins. And if I can do anything to help them win, then I'm going to do something to help them win. Stop it. The league needs to stop this stuff. It's stupid. Gene March, you make a very great comment here. Gene March, appreciate that super chat. Gene says, I think 30 years later, Dak is far above the intelligence level of Troy in this day's game. That may be hard to digest, but that really is real. You know what? I agree. The game is different. I mean, people are still hitting and people are still catching and people are still throwing and people are still running. But they're doing it different these days. They're doing it very different, man. And even Troy admits, man, I'm really kind of far removed from the game. But I do know some things. What do you know, Troy? Yeah, you know the stuff that you're getting information from on the inside. Bokey said Troy is a champion. Not taking anything away from him, but with that team, Kenny Pickett would have won a Super Bowl. Man, Bokey, that team was incredible, man. Now, Bokey, Kenny might not have won as many, but I think he gets one with that 92-93. I mean, there are so many other quarterbacks that probably would have got a Super Bowl with that particular team. But I'm not going to take anything away from Troy Aikman. He was a dog of a player, dog of a leader, very tough. I mean, was all about winning and all of those things. But he can also attribute some of those things to Jimmy Johnson and the team that Jimmy put around him. What's going on, Baz? Good to see you. What's going on, Gabriel Marks? What's going on, Megan? Good to see y'all. What's going on, Tank? All right. Let me read the last comment from Kippy, then we're going to move on. Kippy said Jerry Jones don't let others run his team. You're right. To the detriment of a 30-year drought. Chasing the ghost of Jimmy got us here. He has to give his coaches the power to make the decisions and sit his butt down. Now, Kippy Gardner, let's give Jerry credit. We've actually been watching Jerry do this for the last few years. This is one of the reasons why, if you think about it, this is one of the reasons why the drafts up under Mike McCarthy was so bad. Kippy, I don't know if you remember, but Mike McCarthy flat out said that I have a whole lot of say. I have a whole lot of say in the draft. I have a whole lot of say in those things. Yeah, they've been doing this. Now, the issue is it's not about just giving the coaches say in the players. Make sure you have the kind of coaches that will put in the work that will bring the right players to you. And I'm going to give Brian Schottenheimer some credit. Man, Brian Schottenheimer puts in the work. Brian Schottenheimer puts in the work when it comes to player acquisition. I'm going to give Brian Schottenheimer credit for at least 3 players for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to give Brian Schottenheimer credit for Javonte Williams. I'm going to give Brian Schottenheimer some credit for George Pickens. And y'all might not even realize this part. I'm also going to give him credit for Ty Booker. He was talking about it before the draft last year of how you got to have these certain kinds of offensive linemen and these certain kinds of defensive players. I mean, I really think that he had a part maybe in trying to get the Cowboys to get Quinnen Williams. One thing I'll give Brian puts in the work. And I think Brian is also listening to his coaches and his defensive coaches. He's trying to get Christian Parker kind of what he needs to be able to win this season. So it's not only about letting these coaches pick players, because they have been doing that in recent years. Even Emmitt Smith said they've been giving these players, contrary to what people have been saying, they've been giving these coaches a lot of say-so in these drafts. A lot of say-so in these drafts. And so you just got to make sure you have the right coaches who can make some of those decisions in this draft. JCT said Dak has thrown up for almost 5,000 yards with flawed Cowboys teams. He says, are they serious? Yeah, man, Dak has really been good for a long time. Cowboys, it looks like they're putting some things around him, so I'm good. Gabriel Boggs, he says Smith is the ringleader of the ESPN circus. Exactly, that's why they got him. And you know the crazy thing about Stephen A. Smith? Stephen A. Smith is actually really smart. Stephen A. Smith was in the journalism days. Man, Stephen A. Smith he knows how to do what's right if it was still that time. But they turned Stephen A. Smith into a character. And it's all about the entertainment with Stephen A. Smith, man. Stephen A. Smith used to be able to talk basketball and would do and put the work in. They messed up Stephen A. Smith when they started bringing him the scripts, bringing him all the stats, put that earpiece, as someone said in the chat, put the earpiece in their ear, feeding them the information that they still do that on the air. When y'all hear them rattling off certain stats, they're feeding them that stuff in their ear. Man, they're feeding them that stuff. All right. Let's get to this new, let's go to our next segment. So in this next segment, there is a story out there by, let me make sure I get his name right. There's a story going on out there where Bill Barnwell he's posted the potential for the Cowboys to make a trade with the New York Jets to get to the number 2 spot. And while he's presenting this, if you read some of these things about the New York Jets, I'm going to go a little bit more in depth on this than I did in the video. When you read why this would make sense for the Jets, I could see the Cowboys, even though I think there's more validity to the Cowboys trading with the Arizona Cardinals. This could be a possibility for the Dallas Cowboys too. So it says over here that there is a potential path to the Cowboys getting to the number two overall pick. It says that would point to a potential trade up. And in a new article by ESPN's Bill Barnwell on Monday, he writes that the Cowboys could target the number 2 overall pick currently held by the New York Jets. Barnwell would have the Cowboys send this year's 12th and 112th pick to the Jets, along with a 2027 first rounder and a 2027 third rounder. In return, Dallas would get the number 2 overall pick and a 2027 fifth rounder. Now, when I first read this, I was like, man, this might sound kind of crazy. But then when I go and start looking at what the New York Jets are working with, it wouldn't surprise me if the Jets, just like the Arizona Cardinals, may be interested in trading back. Let me read something from my man JCT. Appreciate that super chat. He said Hurts gets glazed for throwing 18 TD passes in the regular season where the Eagles won anyway. How would a 30-plus touchdown pass quarterback not also win on Philly? Hey, let me tell you something. I think in recent years, I'm just telling you, I think the 2024 Philadelphia Eagles, minus the quarterback, because Troy Aikman is way better than one Jalen Hurts. Minus Troy Aikman, man, the 2024 Philadelphia Eagles may be the closest thing to a super team that we've seen, like the Cowboys of the 90s. Man, that 2024 Philadelphia Eagles team was a super team. That was a flat-out super team. There's no getting around it, man. That was an absolute super team. So when you look further into what Bill Barnwell is talking about, he has a 2026 NFL mock draft with all trades, deals from round 1 picks. And so he kind of goes down the line on what these teams kind of need to do. Now, let me show you something that he said that was interesting about the New York Jets. The New York Jets have a plethora of picks because of the Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams trade. But look at this right here. It says, I would be surprised if the Jets actually did draft Ty Simpson at number 2. Oh, I wish they would draft him at number 2. If the Jets were to draft Ty Simpson at number 2, it shakes up the entire draft order. And if they picked Ty Simpson at number 2, if they're afraid of the Arizona Cardinals getting him at number 3, and y'all already know, I've already talked about this scenario. This is really what we need to happen. That if we could get this to happen, we wouldn't have to trade up. And the reason why we wouldn't have to trade up is because automatically one of these players in the 11 picks before the Cowboys, if the Jets were to get Ty Simpson, this would be a dream scenario. If they were to get Ty Simpson, this means that Arvell Reese is going to slip to the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals would have to decide if they're going to get Arvell Reese or if they're going to get Francis Mauigoa. But if they were to still get Francis Mauigoa, then the Tennessee Titans would have to decide, do they want Arvell Reese or do they want Jeremiah Love? Or if Francis is there, they'd have to decide if they want Jeremiah Love or Francis. And this would just be a ripple effect. Because if Jeremiah Love was there, then the Giants have got to decide, do we want Jeremiah Love or do we want Sonny Styles? And so this is going to create a chain reaction of players that are going to be here, that one of these players, as in Reese, Styles, Bailey, Bain Jr., Mansour Delane, or Caleb Downs. All we need is one player who is not supposed to be here. All we need is one player to crawl into that top 11, and we will get one of those 6 players. We'll get one of those players. So I would actually love for Ty Simpson to go at number 2, because I believe then the Cowboys would probably stand pat. I believe they would definitely stand pat in number 12, and they would just wait and see what's going to come down the pike. And what would be coming down the pike, I guarantee you, what would be coming down the pike is one of the 6 best defensive players in the top part of the draft before the Cowboys would come up at 12. So, guys, for me, best case scenario, I really want Ty Simpson to get at number 12. That's what I want. I want the Arizona Cardinals or the New York Jets to get a little bit antsy as it applies to one another, and they get Ty Simpson. And it's starting to build a little bit. People having conversations about Ty Simpson. Demetrius said, if Simpson goes at number 2, the Cowboys will get their man without making any trade. That's the dream scenario for me, Demetrius. That is the dream. That is the dream scenario for me. I want this to happen without a trade because it just gives the Cowboys more power, because the Cowboys can get who they want at 12 and they could get who they want at 20. One of these players, and I'm going to tell you, I wouldn't be surprised because a lot of people are saying that Caleb Downs could fall out of the top 10. Wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys could get their hands on Caleb Downs even. I just wouldn't be surprised. But when you look at Ty Simpson crawling up into that top 11, that means the Cowboys, they are, Demetrius, they are going to get their man. Mose Logan, he said, I want Bain or Styles. I think we might be able to get Caleb Downs. Jeremy Betts, what's going on? Welcome to the congregation. But hold on. This isn't even Ty Simpson is the ideal situation. But there's something else here too. He also mentioned something else down here in this article about the New York Jets that I didn't think about. He says that the identity of an impact defender, because a lot of people, man, there's some people out there saying that even Arvell Reese isn't even worth a second round pick. So let's just read this. It says, look, the identity of that impact defender comes into question, which makes this position fluid for the Jets. See, this is the same problem the Dallas Cowboys have. The Dallas Cowboys have the number 12 pick, but if one of the top 6 defensive players isn't there, I've questioned whether or not Dylan Thieneman is worth the number 12th overall pick. Because I believe I could trade backwards and still get Thieneman. I believe I can trade backwards and still get him. I could probably go to 14 or 15 and get Thieneman and maybe pick up an extra 4th round pick at number 20. Still get Jacob Rodriguez more than likely at number 20. But a lot of people are questioning if Arvell Reese is worth that number 2 pick. And I got something that's going to show you that's going to blow your mind on that. Some people are questioning, and I already know they're saying that Caleb Downs isn't. They're already saying that Bailey, I don't think people think Bailey is worth a second round. Some people are questioning whether Bailey is a 3rd round pick. It says here, Arvell Reese has drawn comparisons to Michael Parsons. But there are a lot of people who are saying that's a bold-faced lie. It says off-ball linebackers typically fall on draft day. So if teams see Reese in that role, the Jets might be able to grab him later in the top 10. Remember, Parsons fell to number 12 in 2021. Likewise, college teammate Sonny Styles is a converted safety who will be the best in that hybrid linebacker role. And I really think he fits what the Cowboys really, really want. That nickel back that can rush like an edge rusher, cover like a corner, tackle like a linebacker. That's Sonny Styles. It says Texas Tech edge rusher David Bailey. I don't know if you go to number 2. I don't think you get David Bailey. I just think David Bailey is a little rich at number 2. But we're going to discuss it here as we go into our next segment. Who do you pick if you go to number 2? Would you get David Bailey, or would you get Arvell Reese? Or would you get Sonny Styles, David Bailey, or Arvell Reese? Those are probably the 3 top defensive players in the upper part of the draft. It says Texas Tech edge rusher David Bailey is more of a traditional prospect. But watch this. Now, this is why I'm starting to believe that I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets traded out of the number 2 spot. Because look at this. The Jets are set on the edge. They got Will McDonald IV, Joseph Osai, and Kingsley Enagbare. I'm sure I messed that name up. But think about this. If they're already set at the edge, the Jets don't necessarily have that need for Arvell Reese. They don't necessarily have that need for David Bailey. They don't necessarily, well, Sonny Styles I could see. But, just think, what would they do with Arvell Reese and Bailey? Probably move them around at some point. But again, the Jets could full well say, hey, man, we're going to move back. Somebody wants to move up. And if we want Ty Simpson, you put Arizona in a chokehold if you trade out of that number 2 spot. Because now, if Arizona wants him, they got to get him. But nevertheless, I could absolutely see the Jets shocking everybody and trading out of that number 2 spot. Because there are some scouts that are not sold. I still say, y'all tell me what y'all think. I still say Jeremiah Love. If the Cowboys needed a running back, man, Jeremiah Love is the best player in the draft to me. He is the best overall player in the draft. And so when you think about the Raiders, again, they got their running back last year. I don't know if I'd pick Mendoza over Jeremiah Love if I was the Raiders, but they already have a running back. I mean, I'm still struggling on why in the world did the Jets, with the number 2 overall pick, with Jeremiah Love in the draft, go put Breece Hall on a franchise tag? Man, the Jets are a terribly ran organization. I'm not putting Breece Hall on a doggone. I'm not putting him on a salary. I'm not putting him on a franchise tag with Jeremiah Love in the draft. I mean, that is Bozo the Clown type operation. I'm sorry, that's crazy. That is crazy work. It absolutely is. But especially with the way their franchises ran, it wouldn't surprise me one bit. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if they had the unmitigated gall to trade the number 2 overall pick. Frank Lawrence, yeah. He said, gee, man, the Jets are the perfect team to draft a Ty Simpson at number 2. Recall, 1990, Jets drafted Blair Thomas number 2 overall. Emmitt Smith went to the Cowboys at 17. Hey, Frank Lawrence, you know what happens? I said it before. Y'all just wait. Everybody's talking about what they're not going to do. And then draft night comes. And teams who talking about we're not trading Myles Garrett and we're not trading Max Crosby and we're not trading Jonathan Grenard for this and we're not trading Jordan Brooks for this and we want this. Man, when that draft night come up, they're looking at them new young players, looking at those books, looking at contracts of could be and how they could get from up under money. Things change, man. It's what they tell you. Frank Lawrence, you know what they tell you? Don't go to the grocery store hungry. Man, don't you go to the grocery store hungry. Man, you come up out of that thing with cupcakes, ding-dongs, Doritos, Lay's potato chips, dip, man, microwave popcorn, Bluebell ice cream. Man, you come up out of there with all the snacks, man, and you're not going to come out of there with that nutritious food. So draft night is different. Man, folks get desperate. Folks start seeing things differently on draft night, Bass. They start seeing things different on draft night, Bass. So, CGW said, who do you think the best linebacker for this team? We don't know what the Joneses would do. You know, I'll be honest with you. You want to know who I think is the best linebacker for this team, CGW, right now? It's not in the draft. The best linebacker right now for the Cowboys is Jordan Brooks. Jordan Brooks is hands down. If you're talking about winning this year and next and possibly in 2028, if you're talking about a 2 to 3 year window, I don't think it gets any better than Jordan Brooks. I don't think it gets any better. I think Jordan Brooks is that linebacker. He is absolutely the linebacker for this team right now. I would take him right now over Arvell Reese, David Bailey, and anybody else in this draft. I would take him over them. I mean, it's for much as people want Sonny Styles. I really believe the Cowboys have a little bit of leeway even on Sonny Styles. What did you get Jalen Thompson for? Unless you bring in Sonny Styles to replace Malik Hooker. You got a lot of leeway in this draft. I'm going to play the other side of the field on this, other side of the fence. The thing about the Cowboys, let's just be a little bit honest. They don't seem to draft defense well. I mean, you got some hits in there. You got a Michael Parsons. You got a Demarion Overshown, but he's been hurt. You got a Deron Bland. Now he's been hurt. But for the most part, Cowboys haven't drafted defense well in a while. You got Donovan Ezeraka. Okay, he got hurt. We got to see what he's going to be now. I mean, they've drafted some pieces, but, you know, you're still waiting on them to materialize. And some of them, like Mozzie Smith, they just don't materialize. You got the Taco Charltons of the world. I mean, the Cowboys have kind of made a few blunders. But I'm just being real from this other side. Man, if you can't draft them, trade for them. You got a Quinnen Williams. You got a Kenny Clark. You're putting some pieces around them. So now, go out there and get Jordan Brooks. He's right there. Go get him. Now, don't give away a first-round pick, but go out there and get him. Figure out a way to get a second-round pick. I still say you can stand pat at 12, see who's there. If they're there, get them. If they're not there, go back about 3 spots, get who you want, get a second-round pick, go in the give that second-round pick to the Miami Dolphins. But I'll be honest with you, I would see if I could give that third-round pick to the Dolphins now. I tell the Dolphins, hey, Dolphins, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll give you this year's third, the one we traded for Oso Digizua. We'll give you this year's third, and we'll give you next year's fourth. Y'all already know the Cowboys don't like fourth-round draft picks. Cowboys don't like fourth-round picks. Give it up. Go ahead, give it up. You always do. Give them a third and a fourth and go get Jordan Brooks. He is the best linebacker for this team right now. Right now. That's what I would do if I were the Cowboys. I would try to make sure, I'm just trying to keep my 2 first-round picks. But again, Ty Simpson, Headhunter, what's going on? Earl Jones, what up? I've already been praying. I'm like, man, come on, man. Let Ty Simpson get in that top 11, man. Please let Ty Simpson get in that top 11. Derek Rose said, "Gee, I don't give the Cowboys credit for the Parsons draft. He was a draft default that fell to him." Exactly. I mean, it was a no-brainer. It was a no-brainer. And so, again, man, if I'm the Cowboys, there's going to be a lot of options. And so we're going to see what the Cowboys do. We're going to see what the Cowboys do. Okay, so the 4th for next year is already gone. Oh, I forgot. That was for Gary. I forgot. The 4th is already gone. So that means the Cowboys have a 3rd next year. I still say that Jordan Brooks would be better than anything you could get in the 3rd this year and the 3rd next year. I would still give that up for Jordan Brooks. I absolutely would. I think Jordan Brooks is better than all the linebackers coming out of this draft. And if you're in win now mode, I go get them now. I really would. I absolutely would. So I want to talk a little bit about Arvell Reese. And as a matter of fact, I want to talk about Arvell Reese and David Bailey. Because David Bailey, a lot of people are saying, and I really do think this trade has the most validity. The Cowboys trading with the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals, and I think this is how this chain reaction would work. The Arizona Cardinals wait and see if the Jets pass on Ty Simpson. The Jets pass on Ty Simpson. Then the Arizona Cardinals, if they want Ty Simpson, don't want to probably get him at 3. So then the Cowboys come down to 3, get the 3, give up the 12. They get Ty Simpson at 12. Because the Jets have another pick in the 1st round. So the sweet spot for the Arizona Cardinals would be 12 if they truly want to take the chance on Ty Simpson. Because the Browns aren't taking the chance on Ty Simpson. I don't think the Browns, they got their quarterback in Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders is eons better than Ty Simpson. And so that's really the scenario if you want that trade, is the Arizona Cardinals. And so the question is Arvell Reese worth giving up so much for to get?
Yes! Here we go!
Saw some interesting stuff today on Arvell Reese. I got some film and stuff like that on Arvell Reese. But before we get to the film on Arvell Reese, I found some criticism of Arvell Reese. And I want to see something real quick. If NFL on NBC, they've been doing a really good job of kind of doing an overview of these players. They actually got one that I saw I want to use on Dylan Thieneman. I went and collected some material on Thieneman. Let me see if they said anything yet about. See if they say anything about Arvell Reese. But I know they just did an article on. Thieneman. All right, so they do. They got an article over here on Arvell Reese. Let me see. I got a lot of material.
Let's switch to
I got a lot of material on Arvell Reese, so let's just kind of run down through it as a player profile on Arvell Reese. But there has been some criticism on him. And I want to know what you guys think about it. Because I know some of y'all really watch a lot of college football. And so let's listen to real quick what the NFL on the NBC says about Arvell Reese. And then I'm going to read you a crazy, and I don't know if it's necessarily crazy, but I'm going to read you an article about what they said about Arvell Reese and how people are comparing him to Michael Parsons. And they're kind of like, no, but check this out. This is what they're saying about Arvell Reese.
Arvell Reese, just for a second. right? Because, I mean, seeing him in person, impressive, but also one of those guys where you go, it's only going to get more impressive as he gets a little older.
He's 20 years old.
Right.
That's crazy.
He gave me the impression sitting here that more teams are looking at him as an edge defender rather than the stand-up linebacker thing. And he made a quote there basically saying, I think I'm an outside linebacker edge, right? Teams have pretty much been asking me what I want to do and see where my mind is at. I've been telling them I think I'm an outside linebacker edge. I haven't even scratched the surface with what really I can do pass rushing, which I concur, Doctor.
I agree, too. It was interesting watching his evolution over the year at Ohio State, because I think early on they used him on the edge a lot more than they did by the end of the year. So he's got to work on developing full-time pass rush, the whole deal. But I think that would be the role if I were going to place him. Part of my question with him is, as such a young guy and a guy who doesn't have a ton of experience on the field, when you go to the NFL, you're playing off-ball linebacker. You're making checks. You're adjusting to formations. There's so much in your mind. There's so much pre-snap. There's so much communication. Now, I'm not saying as an edge rusher that you don't have to think.
But it's different. You're right.
Not playing linebacker.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's a valid point. I mean, he could get in the scheme where we talk about this all the time. They just go, get wide and go get the quarterback. And we don't give a damn what else you do. Right? So it can be that simple. It's definitely a simpler position as you're compared, you're right, to the nuance of middle linebacker and reading blocks and reading the offensive line and making sure we check to the other defense once a motion or shift happens. But, man, I would still say he's the most impressive guy I saw here. Because he's kind of got, I don't know, he's an alien like that.
Yeah, he is.
And I mean that in the most respectful of ways. Plus, I also have a theory sometimes when you're really handsome like he is, okay, I just go, you look at the stars, they're usually handsome, right? Legs and ass and handsome, and sometimes that goes together.
Prospect face theory.
Right?
He's got the superstar look.
Yeah, right. He does have the superstar look. That's what I'm saying, right? So
this is hilarious because I subscribe to that. I'm totally
welcome to the show.
Handsome dudes and bad hair. I'm out on bad hairlines too, so I subscribe to this.
Yo, thanks for watching, homies. We are now in the NFL season here on Chris Sims Unbuttoned.
Hit subscribe to get our weekly picks, game recaps, film deep dives, and much, much more.
Thanks again for watching. Subscribe.
So, again, they just gave Arvell Reese a glowing review. JCT. No, I hadn't heard anything about Shady McCoy, but I'm not surprised by anything he says about Dak Prescott. He has to put down Dak Prescott to make Jalen Hurts look better. Bass, it's funny that you said this. The league was blinded by the Hurts super team. As a matter of fact, they're actually saying, Bass, people inside of the Philadelphia building, or at least what I've heard, people inside of the Philadelphia building are saying that Super Bowl went to Jalen Hurts' head. And so that's why he thinks he's all that in a bag of chips now. And a lot of people are saying, they're trying to bring him back down. They're trying to bring him back down to earth, man. They created a monster. Jalen doesn't accept the fact that he played on a super team. It doesn't mean that he didn't play well. But he played well because he played on a super team. He absolutely did, man. That Joker played on a super team. And that's why he was able to win. Frank Lois said, I can't get fired up for any of the top defensive players in the draft. Watching tape of these college kids blowing up Kent State just doesn't move me off the Cowboys. Trapped in Jeremiah Love. Yeah, I think a lot of people are saying that, man. They're not blown away by that stuff. Yeah, pure game. And the problem is Hurts is what he is. He needs a great team around him. A lot of quarterbacks need a great team around him. But, man, he had one of the closest things to the 90s Cowboys that I think we've seen in a long time. If he didn't win the Super Bowl with that team 2024, he was going to be out the league. Yeah, he's going to be out the league. You can't have that team and not win. Bass said, I believe it, G. After seeing his Sprite commercial, he said, yeah, the Super Bowl went to his head, and now I see why folks say he's not humble. Yeah, man. Bass, there's a saying out there that absolute power absolutely corrupts. You want to know who a man is? Give him some success. You'll know exactly who he is. But again, as we're talking about Arvell Reese and what they've just said about Arvell Reese, I want to read you a couple of criticisms of Arvell Reese. I was reading over here on NFL Draft Files. This is what they had to say about Arvell Reese. They said scouts believe Arvell Reese is not in the league of Micah Parsons. And I have to say I agree via Bob McGinn. It says it's not unlikely the Jets draft him at number 2 overall, but that's due to how weak the draft class is more than it is Reese being an immediate superstar in the NFL. It says Reese is raw and inexperienced as an edge rusher, but I'm not sure his off-ball linebacker play warrants him being drafted so high either. While he can be an elite linebacker, his upside getting after the quarterback is what the Jets will actually covet. Now, let's think about Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons was originally brought in here, if I'm not mistaken, to be an off-ball linebacker. And he got an opportunity to rush the passer in practice, and he did well. And from that point on, it was all she wrote. And so if you're looking for just a raw rusher of the passer, well, maybe he's it. But some people will argue, and we're going to listen to this as we get into the next segment. Some people argue, though, that if you're looking for a pass rusher, they believe that David Bailey is a better pass rusher. They believe David Bailey is a better pass rusher. So I saw something else on Arvell Reese, and I'm expecting to find all these great articles about him and things of that nature. But there is a website called First Round Mock. I'm going to be looking at them quite a bit. I like some of the research that they do on players, and they're going down the line on some of these players in the draft. And man, what they said about Arvell Reese. Let me read a couple of comments. And man, what they said about Arvell Reese. Jeremy Best said the Chiefs relegated every resource they had to stop the running game in both Super Bowls. Of course, he had one-on-one with two and number 1 receivers and a lobber receiving tight end. Come on, man. Yeah. Yeah. Bass said, really don't like this new concept of making a linebacker a defensive end or pass rusher. I like the respective positions because linebackers are undersized to be pass rushers or edge rushers, hand in the dirt. Exactly. Now, one of the things they like about Bailey, they said he can come out of that 4-point stance. But this is why I always say, man, when people start trying to compare these guys to Reggie White, Bass, this is why I don't like when people make that comparison, man. This dude was a true defensive end. He wasn't an off-ball linebacker getting to the quarterback. Now, this dude was a pure menace at defensive end. And these guys aren't the same. Now, David Bailey, for example, we're going to look at him in a moment. Now, David Bailey is one of these guys, man. He beats guys with quickness. And so this article about Arvell Reese, y'all tell me what y'all think. Over here on the first round mock, this is what they had to say about Arvell Reese. I thought it was pretty interesting. Says here Ohio State linebacker Arvell Reese is a big reputation prospect in the 2026 NFL Draft. Per NFL Mock Draft Database, 31% of documented mainstream draft media are projecting him as the number 2 overall consensus pick. Wowzer. Top 10 picks come loaded with expectations. Did he produce top 10 game film during 2025 season for Ohio State? They say no. For all of y'all who watch college football, do y'all feel like Arvell Reese produced top 10 tape with Ohio State? It says, did he at least produce consistent first-round game film for Ohio State in 2025? Y'all answer these questions for all of y'all who watch college football. They said no. They said, does he flash first-round ability? Yes. But this isn't about flashing. This is about consistency. It said this is about the extracting traits. This is about extracting traits, tendencies, and patterns from a prospect's college film that relate to what has been proven to succeed in the NFL, pure and simple. Inconsistencies get an NFL team beat. And every time I tried taking myself into a first-round grade with Reese, I got this sinking feeling in my gut as an evaluator. I have to go with that. It says, what does Reese look like on his game film? Reese is a classic run and hit linebacker. As long as you keep him clean, he's great. But the moment he encountered any block, whether as a pass rusher or run defender, it didn't look too good. Were there exceptions to this? Yes. But they were the exceptions, not the norm. Get Reese out in space and let him roam around, unblocked, and yes, he'll produce highlights. Lock him up in man pass coverage when a defender is assigned to cover a specific offensive skill position player. Short range, 0 to 9 yards against backs and tight ends, and he'll stick to them like Velcro. I like him in these two roles. Okay, I see that. But it says, tell me about Reese as a pass rusher. He's limited. Why? Reese has a very limited pass rushing toolbox. How limited? In 14 games this season, I noted 4 spin moves, 2 against Wisconsin, 2 against Purdue, 1 head fake, and 1 rip move. He was best at bull rushing, but that's it. What were his pass rush numbers? Did they confirm his game film? Pro Football Focus, 8 sacks, 23 pressures. Okay, hold up. Didn't you just get done telling me about his nearly empty toolbox of pass rush moves? Yes. Well, then explain yourself and make it quick. He's an opportunist. He generated a lot of that production based on being at the right place at the right time and on delayed blitzes when things opened up and he could take clean routes to the quarterback and didn't have to contend with blockers. Sure, on a couple of those sacks, he was able to beat left tackles on speed rushes who will probably never sniff the NFL. Let's not get carried away. This is what they said. They said, more concerns? Yes. Moments when he loses track of where the ball is, bites hard on play misdirection, split-second slow reactions, looks confused sometimes in zone pass coverages when defenders are responsible for defending a certain area of the field. Biggest concern, this is the 2nd straight season of Reese's game film I've walked away feeling disappointed. Granted, I appreciated some of his traits more this time around, and he opened my eyes to more of his true value, but he still has some glaring weaknesses that disqualify him from being a first-round value on my board. It says he looks the part, looks good in pads, long arms, good natural strength, nice short area close when he's clean, low football IQ, has value as a defender, can seal off the 0 to 9 yard perimeters, hammers people, solid tackling technique. I charted 131 times. He ended up around the pile in run support. All right. Y'all tell me what y'all think about Arvell Reese. But this article right here, definitely giving us a different picture of, or I shouldn't even say a different picture. I think they're giving a full picture. And I'm going to see if I can put this down in the chat. It actually has all his game film. This article has all of his game film from, 16 games evaluated. Some from 2024, and it has quite a few games evaluated from 2025. So again, he was 69 tackles, 34 solo, 2 passes defended, only 8 sacks. David Bailey had less tackles, but he had more sacks. I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think. But man, David Bailey might be a step quicker than him. Man, David Bailey's, I mean, watching that film on David Bailey, man, will wake you up. Where David Bailey is beating people is on speed. He's beating people on speed. And he's got some moves, which probably explains why he has 14 and a half sacks. Okay. Let me show you a couple things on Arvell Reese. Looks like he's working out with one BT Jordan.
Right there, good, right there. Get over there. Good work, boy. That's it. Yeah, that's better, boy. That's it. Right there. Stop. Ready, go. Push. That's it, man. Right there, good, right there. Get over there. Good work, boy. That's it. Yeah, that's better, boy. That's it. Right there. Stop. Good right there, man. Get out. That's it. Yeah, that's better, boy. Thank you. Good right there. Make it low. That's it right there, boy. Ready.
Yeah. But again, these are drills. You know, sometimes you have to be careful with those drills. It's what's happening on the field. Let's see here. I got another video here. Let's see. All right, let's see if we can get some up close of Arvell Reese. Check it out.
Yo, G, bless him.
Reese.
All right, check him out. Now, I'll be honest with you. I've looked at his tape, and I've looked at David Bailey's tape. I'm telling you right now, this dude, David Bailey, he looks a lot quicker to me. Y'all tell me what y'all think. I think he looks I think David Bailey, I think he looks a lot quicker. I really do. I think Bailey looks a lot quicker. Y'all tell me.
Yo, G, bless him, bless him, bless him, bless him, bless him, bless him, bless
He's a little smaller than David Bailey, too.
Yo, G, bless him, bless him, bless him, bless him, bless him, bless him, bless him,
Man, a lot of these guys, man, they're pretty small. They're pretty small, if you ask me, man, to be linebackers. Some of these guys are really, really small. But when I look at the Arvell Reese tape, it don't look like the David Bailey tape. it don't look like the David Bailey tape. David Bailey is an absolute speed demon. He is an absolute speed demon. Let me see if we can go back and look at David Bailey. David Bailey, when you look at his tape, you're just like blown away at this man's tape.
At the end of the day,
let's look at him real quick. We saw it the other day. Let's look at this again. Man, this dude, David Bailey. Man, when you watching David Bailey, man, this dude look different. He just does. He looked different to me. All right, let's check this out. I mean, David Bailey, when you watch him, and we're talking whip blocks, he gets to the quarterback. He gets through blocks. Look at the speed. He beats guys with speed. I think he's quicker. I think he's faster. I mean, he gets there quick. You don't get to think with David Bailey. You don't, look at there. You don't get to think with Bailey, man. Look, you see that spin move? Man, when you get, when Bailey, look at there. Now, you don't get to think with Bailey. This, Bailey, from what I've been watching on both of them, you don't get to think with Bailey. Look at this. This is what they were talking about with Reese. Reese has to get clean. Bailey don't have to get clean. Bailey comes off blocks. Because Bailey is so quick. Look at that spin move. Man, I'm just telling you right now. He reminds me, if you ask me of these two, which one of them reminded me of Micah Parsons? I'm telling you, David Bailey reminds me more of Micah Parsons. David Bailey reminds me more of Micah Parsons. There's, with this guy, you can forget it. He's beating people with speed and quickness. Yeah, he beating them with speed and quickness. There's no doubt about it. Boy, David Bailey, man, I'm telling you. I think there is probably more validity to the Cowboys actually doing the Arizona deal. Real estate vet, I agree with you. These linebackers today, they're nowhere near as big as what linebackers used to be. I mean, when I think linebacker, man, I'm thinking when I'm thinking linebackers, man, I'm thinking like 260, 260, 6'4", stuff like that. These guys, they're built different today. The game is a lot faster. But man, hey, pure gaming. When I see him, when I look at the tape on these two, Bailey, I don't even think he's a hair faster. I think he's way faster. Bass said ever since Michael team in college and NFL want hybrid linebacker edges. Yep, exactly. Bass, I agree with you. Bailey has more arsenal of rush tactics. There is no doubt about it. Is no doubt about it. Frank said, man, I'm with JCT. We need speed and athleticism off the edge to keep up with athletic quarterbacks. Can we get this in price range? Get this in the price range on the trade free agency? I'm telling you right now, if you are looking for the better rusher of the passer, it seems to me it is David Bailey. It seems to be David Bailey to me. Keek says, I think Cowboys will stand pat and let the players fall. Worst case, they trade back at 12 and pick Howell. Now, Keek, I'm going to tell you what I think. I think it all depends on what starts to transpire in front of the Cowboys. Well, two scenarios. The Cowboys may actually get the Arvell Reese deal worked out immediately. I mean, not Arvell Reese, the David Bailey pick. I wouldn't be surprised that we hear right off the top, Cowboys traded up into the first, traded up at number 3, and they got David Bailey. I'm just not going to be surprised. When I look at David Bailey versus Arvell Reese, I can clearly see why the Cowboys would be more vested in Arvell Reese, David Bailey, than they would be interested in Arvell Reese. I'm watching David Bailey get off blocks, make spin moves, put moves, knock hands down. He's so quick. I'm watching him do all of that. If the Cowboys are looking for a pass rusher, it's going to be David Bailey. and they are going to trade with the Arizona Cardinals. I do. I think these are the two scenarios we're looking at. They're either going to trade up and they're going to get David Bailey. I don't think they're going to do the number 2 thing. I think they're going to trade up with the Cardinals. They have to give away less draft capital. I believe they'll trade up. They'll get David Bailey, and then they'll get Jacob Rodriguez and call it a day back there. If they hadn't already traded for Jordan Brooks. If they trade for Jordan Brooks, I believe it'll be Jordan Brooks, David Bailey, and then they'll get a corner with that number 20. And I think the Cowboys will call it a day. Now, if none of those players are there, depending upon if they don't do the Arizona thing, if none of those players they want are there, I believe the Cowboys will probably trade back at 12, and they'll probably get somebody like they'll probably get Thieneman. I can see them getting Dylan Thieneman, or they'll get Keldrick Falk. They'll trade back and get Keldrick Falk at 15. Sir Nose, yes, I would love to see him versus a run block. Yeah. What up, Sir Nose? Sir Nose, a lot of people don't know nothing about that Parliament Funkadelic man and the Sir Nose. They don't know anything about those days. They don't know anything about that Sir Nose, man. But I'm not going to be surprised if the Cowboys, I'm going to narrow it down. I believe the 3 realistic scenarios. 1, Cowboys stand pat and just see what comes to them. They just sit there and see what comes to them. 2, if somebody doesn't fall to them that they want, they're going to go backwards and they're going to get Keldrick Falk, or they'll get Dylan Thieneman. 3, they're going to trade up with the Arizona Cardinals, get to that 3 spot, get David Bailey, and then they'll get Jacob Rodriguez with that number 20 pick, or they'll trade it backwards, see if they can get some more draft capital, and they'll still get Jacob Rodriguez, and then we'll see what they do with the rest of those draft picks. Wouldn't be surprised the Cowboys, if they don't get a corner in the first round, they'll get a corner in the third round, because I do think they want Jacob Rodriguez. But I'm telling you guys, there are some other scenarios the Cowboys are going to have to think about. I wouldn't be surprised if Myles Garrett is traded on the first night of the draft. I will not be surprised if Max Crosby is traded on the first night of the draft. So we're going to see there's going to be some very interesting things in there. Larry said, can't compare Bailey. Bailey is much quicker, is bigger. It seems to have a better intuition where he's going, where the ball's going to be. To me, Bailey all the way. Larry Golden, this is the more realistic option if you ask me. I think it would be Dave. I think David Bailey is probably the one that they would go with. So there was also a conversation I was listening to. They were having a conversation about David Bailey versus Arvell Reese on Gil's Arena. Man, Gil's Arena is starting to get pretty good. And, hey, man, let me tell you something. Skip Bayless on Gil's Arena, I think he realizes he's around some real ones. Skip Bayless is a lot better. He's a lot better on Gil's Arena than he ever was on First Take on the thing that he had on under what was it called? Can't remember what it was called with him and Shannon. But he's a lot better on there. Nisi is in the chat. Nisi, what's going on? Nisi, we're talking Arvell Reese and David Bailey. This was the conversation they were having about David Bailey over there on Gil's Arena.
You have going top.
And, man, let me tell you something. I could see why the Cowboys are probably interested in David Bailey because he's a better pure pass rusher. 14.5 sacks versus 8 sacks. Check this out.
So this is Hayden's top 10 here. Obviously, we all know Mendoza. Everybody's has him going 1. We have Arvell Reese. Then we have Francis. Then we have David Bailey. Carnell Tate. Oh, Carnell Tate being the first wide receiver. We have Sonny Styles. Jeremiah Love at 7. Ruben Bain at 8. And Montour Delane at 9. And then Caleb Downs at 10. So I want to dive into this because you have Ohio State's Arvell Reese is the first defensive player off the board, and he goes number 2 to the Jets. So tell me about that and why.
This was like one of the easiest evaluations ever because he's so physical and he's so just athletic in general. And everything that he did with Matt Patricia translates to what modern NFL backers are doing today. So you'll see him mugged up in the A-gap. He'll play off-ball linebacker. He'll walk up to the edge. And he's just violent. You just see players, their next snap back, whether it's a tight end, he'll forklift a right tackle. He drilled this Penn State tight end on an insert block. And then you'll watch him out in the screen game chasing down running backs. There was a rep against Michigan where he's kind of mirroring back and forth with the guy. It's just everything about him, and then you see it at the combine on top of that. It just screams what an NFL linebacker is today, where they're just, you don't know if they're coming or if they're dropping back, and he's got the skill set to do both. So I think 3-4 scheme with what the Jets are running with the new defensive line coach there, to me it makes perfect sense. And I think the big hint there was Demario Davis. They signed him. I think they're just going to learn from Demario Davis because he's only played for one season at Ohio State.
Who do you have going as the first defensive player?
I like Reese. Just when you go have a combine like that, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, Baz, this is why he act right here. He's got a lot of respect for Akeem, man. He loves Akeem, man. And this is why he keeps himself in line here. See, I think Skip started kind of losing respect for Shannon because when Shannon first got on Undisputed, I don't know if any of y'all watched from the beginning. See, I was a big fan of Skip Bayless back in the day. Not for his takes per se, but he was one of the very few guys out there that was still, doing his own research, and he would have some very good points. Skip's problem is with the way he presents the points. Very disrespectful a lot of times. But nevertheless, I kind of followed him over there on Undisputed. And when Shannon Sharp first got on Undisputed, man, Shannon Sharp, man, was like, I was like, wow, this dude is like really, for lack of a better term, I mean, no pun intended, he was very sharp. I mean, just the historical knowledge he could spout off. That's when he first started. But then he started relying more on the gimmicks. And I think this is one of the things that kind of led to Shannon Sharp getting to that point to where he got. Man, his ego got so big and his persona got bigger than what he was doing. Skip, the thing about Skip is one of these guys where he still takes the old school journalism very serious. Still does his own research, makes a lot of great points. Problem is with Skip can be very disrespectful in how he presents some of those points. But on Gil's Arena, Skip has been a lot more reserved on Gil's Arena and really hits you with a lot more facts. He hits you with a lot more facts now, and he's not about all that dismissive stuff because, I mean, y'all can see the setting over here. I mean, it won't take much for somebody to get to you on this set. I mean, I don't even know if they got security. So you got to be real careful what you're saying up in this arena right here, man. You probably get slapped. But Skip has been very good over here. He's been very good.
You know how that dude. If you have production, then you go do that at the combine. Your draft stock just skyrockets. You know what I'm saying? And then he probably the most versatile defensive player in the draft. Like
what up, Melvin?
Like you
I
said,
got
that 3-4 scheme. He could play any one of the 4 linebackers for real. You could put him on the edge. Like on the list we show, he got an edge next to his name, right? But he really played off the ball linebackers. He could play whatever.
Yeah.
So the Jets need a lot. They need a lot. So maybe they do get a guy who they could put him at edge. They could put him at linebacker. You could just move him around. He could do a lot of shit. He a great blitzer. You know what I'm saying? He a great run-stopping linebacker. So I like the fit. I think he will go number 2 just because his versatility. But next to his name it say edge. If they drafting him to play edge, now Bailey is the best edge in the game. He the most natural.
There it is.
Edge, his get off, his moves. He bull rush, his
there
spin
it is.
moves.
Now you're
his
getting
dip and
there.
rip. Like he is the best edge.
There we go.
So if the Jets are drafting an edge player, if they're gonna put him at edge, then I would go get Bailey at number 2. But if they
There it is. I'm telling you right now, man, there it is. When you look at the tape, and this is why I said it, I already said it. I believe the more valid trade up scenario, I don't think the Cowboys will make that trade with the Jets. I think if they do trade up, Poobie D, if they do trade up, it's going to be with the Arizona Cardinals. And they're not going to have to give up as much. They're not going to have to give up as much. I'll be honest with you. If you're telling me the Cowboys can trade up, if they could trade up to number 3 and get David Bailey and give up a third and keep that 20, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. See if maybe you give them a third and maybe you get a 4th rounder. Maybe you get a 4th rounder if you're the Cowboys. I'm good with that. I absolutely would not mind the Cowboys trading up to get David Bailey if they're not going to address that pass rusher issue in this remaining free agency. I would.
they drafting as the Jets, like, well, you know, maybe we'll put him here. Some packages we'll blitz him. If they trying to get a do-it-all player, then Reese would be a great pick for him.
And I'm okay with Reese. I would only caution them and anybody that's drafted him this high, if you don't have the proper plan. That's what Lee was getting at.
Yeah.
If you don't have the proper plan for him, the fastest way to derail his career is to do too much with him early. When you get a guy like this that's that versatile, you need other solid pieces around him where you can say, okay, I know I got my edge guy. I got this guy here. I got this guy here. You just gonna come. We're gonna put you here. I need you to just go. And put you here. I just need you to. When you have a guy like this who's very versatile, you can run into problems like Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah.
He came out of Clemson. He was a do-it-all guy. And his linebacker, safety, corner, and Vance Joseph, very creative mind. One of the best D coordinators in the game. This is what he said. He said he's a big man who can tackle, run and chase. He can blitz. He can play at the edge, but he also can cover in the slot. That's something you don't see from linebackers. Okay. He said he's also like
that's
Taylor
what happened,
Mays.
man.
I don't know if y'all remember Taylor Mays. Taylor Mays was a big body, versatile, athletic, ran a 4.3, freak athlete. He didn't live up to what people expected because of his athleticism. But then you look at what Vance Joseph said about Isaiah Simmons, and it was too much for him. Too much info, too early. What was he doing? Was he going to be inside linebacker? Was he going to be a safety? You can have guys like that, but you need other pieces in place to be able to maximize that guy. What the Jets, I believe, need is David Bailey. You know who he is. He in that spot. You need a guy up front that's going to be a dog. He going to be right here on the right or he going to be right here on the left. You ain't got to do that much thinking. We just need you to go be you. And the lights ain't nothing. Man, that dude out there with no gloves, he just going to get it. And that's really what I believe you need, man. You just can run into too many problems with a Swiss Army knife too early if you overload him with info. So if you don't have a real plan, Lee just said it. If he going to be an edge, then you need to go get this guy. But if you going to move him around, and the Jets just need too much. And if you bring him in to be the savior, we're going to put you here, but you need bets in place to bring a guy in like that at number 2. So I would just caution them, if you don't have a real plan where you can maximize who he is, I would go David Bailey. That's just me.
Okay.
Yeah. If the Cowboys are trading up, I believe it's David Bailey. I absolutely believe it's David Bailey. I think that is who they are going to trade up to get. And let's just kind of skip down to this, matter of fact, because at the end of the day, is it going to be Reese or Bailey? Because for the Cowboys, if you think about it, giving up a 12, a 112, and whatever else they're talking about the Cowboys giving up, I don't know. I just think that may be too much for Arvell. And I'm not sure Arvell fits what they're trying to do. I think Bailey, if you're looking for the pass rusher, I think Bailey may fit what you're trying to do. If you're looking for that nickelback and you go to number 3, I'm looking elsewhere. I'm going Sonny Styles before I go either one of them. I would go Sonny Styles. But if it's between Reese or Bailey, I'm going Bailey. I'm definitely going Bailey. Larry Golden said, any of those guys remind you of Lawrence Taylor, 6'3", 240 pounds, as fast as heck. Nah, these guys today, they're not built the same. Poobie D, smash that thumbs up. Appreciate you. Bass said, top messages no fan funding, and yeah, back and not jump in. I've had issues too, but it fixed. Oh, okay. Switch off. Okay, y'all having some stuttering problems today? I checked everything before I came, so I'm thinking everything is on the up and up today. We kind of got it back smoothed out. But again, man, I'm telling you, I think David Bailey might be the guy, guys. I think David Bailey, if the Cowboys are going to trade up, I think it's going to be David Bailey. Skip Bayless, he gives a very good case for David Bailey. I'm telling y'all, man, when Skip is just doing the research stuff, man, Skip be on his game, man, when he's doing the research stuff. And like I said, he on there with them real ones now. He on there with them real gangsters. Bass. Boy, he on there with a real one when you talk about Akeem Talib, boy. Skip on there with a real one. But you know, Skip has always liked Akeem Talib too. Skip has always liked Akeem Talib. So I think he's got a lot of respect for Akeem Talib. And one of the things that Shannon wouldn't do, Shannon didn't want to hang out with Skip outside of the job. Man, I bet money if I was a gambler. Man, I guarantee you Skip hangs with Akeem Talib outside of this thing, man. Skip is a huge fan of Akeem Talib. I remember talking about him on the show.
Speaking of David Bailey, you said Arvell Reese, no-brainer, as your best defensive player.
I agree with you, Niece. Draft's going to be exciting. I'm excited.
You don't have any brains in the National Football League if you don't take David Bailey ahead of Arvell Reese if you want a pass rusher, because I know he can rush the passer, and I don't know about Arvell Reese. And I like all the tangibles. I like all the measurables. And I like a lot of the productivity, although Sonny Styles was more productive at Ohio State than Arvell Reese was, because Arvell Reese was like baby. He was just trying to figure it out. And then they had an identity crisis. Do you want to stand up and rush the passer? Do you ever put your hand down? No, he doesn't ever put his hand down. They just haven't tried that yet. Can he do that? I assume he can, but I don't know for a fact that he can. David Bailey is a proven get after the quarterback pass rusher who has incredible bendability, flexibility, and just a nasty motor to him. Mm-hmm. And he went to Mater Dei, which is kind of in your neck of the woods where you grew up in Orange County. And then he goes to Stanford. And if you look at his productivity at Stanford, it just goes up and up and up. And then he gets his payday and he goes to Texas Tech and he has 14.5 sacks. And he did have one in the playoff game. And you just watch him. And when I turn my TV on, if you just eye test David Bailey, you just see it. It's just like movement.
Off the tape.
Right? You just say,
yeah,
oh.
David Bailey jumps off the tape. He absolutely does. He absolutely jumps off the tape.
Oh, look at that. He's making stuff happen. And as you and I always talk about, as Jimmy Johnson told me the first day I met Jimmy Johnson, to win in the National Football League, you need somebody who can rush the passer, somebody who can cover. You just have to start with those two pieces, yep. And yet your job is pretty dependent on rushing the passer, right? I can say you played a somewhat dependent position because if you don't rush the passer, I don't care how great you are, you're going to lose. If the quarterback has enough time, right? Yep. You can't cover more than 5 seconds or whatever, right? I mean, there's going to come a point when you did strap somebody, and then he just uncovered because you're just human, right?
Right.
Okay? So you need Von Miller. You have to have Von Miller taking over the Super Bowl from Cam Newton. He just took the game over. And did it not make your job a lot easier?
It does. But I will say, like, cornerbacks and like O-line, we stop the attackers. Like receivers and edge players are the attackers. We can figure out ways to stop the attack. Like if I want to stop Von.
Hey man, I know a lot of y'all already know this. Boy, Aqib Talib, and I say he a real one. He was a real one on the field too. I mean, outside of some of the Crabtree yanking of the chains, man, shoot, Aqib Talib could play cornerback. Man, this dude, one of the nastiest cornerbacks out there, man. Aqib Talib was a dog, boy. That's a dude right there that not only talked it, man, he walked it.
We could stop him. I don't know why the fuck Carolina didn't, but we could stop him. I could put a running back here in the edge and slide to you and make the other guy beat us. Maybe that's why they didn't, because the other guy was Marcus Ware. But I'm saying it's...
Nisi, I'm telling you, Skip is way better on this show. Skip way better on this show. And I think one of the things is, it's not only that Skip likes Aqib Talib. Aqib Talib likes Skip Bayless. And that's the huge difference in a lot of this stuff. Aqib Talib really likes Skip Bayless. Just like Lil Wayne really likes Skip Bayless. And so they really kind of hold it down for Skip. And they allow Skip, especially on Gil's Arena, they allow Skip to say what he say. And Skip, he's not dismissive, keeps it very respectful. Skip does very good research. The research that Skip, whatever you hear Skip saying, Skip's researched it. Skip has researched what he said. And so he's a lot better on here. Baz says Skip dresses like he's 50, dresses 50 years younger than he actually is for real. Them skinny jeans as can be. Hey, and Baz, man, let me tell you something. Man, Skip is ripped. Skip still runs, still lift weights, still works out. As old as he is, Skip is absolutely ripped and got a Jordan collection out of this doggone world. Him and Jordan are very, very good friends. Boy, y'all, man, I'm telling you about Skip, boy. And when Skip is doing this stuff, Skip is very likable. Skip is very likable. Nisi said the way he put Crabtree on the field. Hey, Nisi, hey, them boys from two different sides of the tracks. Aqib, one of them real ones. I mean, Aqib is that type of dude. When you get in the fight, you call him Aqib Talib. Yeah, he do fool with that. Man keeps some fresh Jordans on, man, for sure. For sure. Hallelujah said Aqib was a savage at cornerback. I don't know if it was true. I mean, if it was pure talent or if Bill and them coached him up, but he was nice with it. Oh, he was crazy, man. Dude was very talented. Very, very talented. Very talented. Yeah, I do think, though, Backbreaker, these guys that they're looking at, they can play linebacker, too. They can play linebacker, too. David Bailey, I believe, can play linebacker in this league.
We need them, but if we don't have them, we can still be us without a Von Miller. You know what I'm saying? I was always leave. I ain't always have a Von Miller. Like, you know what I'm saying? I left Tampa with 16 picks. Skip, like, I know Von Miller. You feel me? But
there comes a point, it's just realistic, if you have no pass rush.
Yeah, it's hard.
If you want your defense to be dominant, Sapp told me rush and coverage got to work together. So
you got to go together.
When I have lead behind me, I know, okay, baseline rule for every defensive lineman, we have 2.3 seconds to get to the quarterback, regardless of if Lieb is behind you.
That's why I said
But if
5
Lieb is
seconds.
behind you,
I probably get 3.3.
You see what I'm saying? That's the difference.
I buy that.
You see what I'm
but
saying?
you don't
So
get 5 seconds.
No,
you don't get it.
And it's the same. He's gonna strap regardless. But if I know I got a pass rush, all right, now I can play a little different because I know that ball coming out because I got dogs up front that's gonna push this ball sooner.
Yeah.
So it's just the same. You know what I'm saying? It's just.
Now, let's put this in the context what they just said with the Dallas Cowboys. Now, let's put this in context with the Dallas Cowboys. So, you got about 2.3 seconds. Let's say you got 2.3 seconds. You got 2.3 seconds. Well, with the Dallas Cowboys, you probably got that full 2.3 seconds. And probably even 3 seconds. Because we didn't have the pass rush. And I'm going to tell you an insane stat. Contrary to what a lot of people believe, the Cowboys were one of the top teams in the league in quarterback pressures. Y'all remember I told y'all when I first started this channel, I used to always talk about quarterback pressures are overrated. I want to know what the result of the pressure was. Was the pressure a sack? Was it a strip sack fumble? Did it result in the quarterback being hurried and the quarterback throwing an interception? What was the result of the quarterback pressure? It's a very overrated stat in the grand scheme of things. You need somebody that can get the quarterback on the ground. Somebody that can get the quarterback on the ground. Man, I don't want to hear about a quarterback pressure. I want to hear what was the result. Sack, strip sack, fumble, interception. Tell me what the result was. How do the Cowboys be one of the top teams in quarterback pressure? But they were not one of the top teams in turnovers, interceptions, fumbles. They were one of the worst teams in turnovers. So you think about this formula they just talked about the Cowboys, 2.3. Well, you're going to get those full 2.3 with the Cowboys. And because we don't have the back end, you are actually going to get, for us, they're going to get somewhere around 4.3 because we don't have the defensive backs back there that can stop them from the big plays. And so this is where the Cowboys were missing. So the Cowboys have got to get better. And I think as good as I think Rashawn Gary is going to be, I still say they need more. Donovan Ezeraku, he may bounce back and get better at rushing the passer this year. I still say if I'm the Cowboys, I got to get more. I need one more. Just give me one more guy that can rush the passer. One more guy that can rush the passer. And then get you a defensive back so that you can buy yourself and subtract a second away from, rather than us being a 4.3, 4.5 second defense, can we get our offense, can we get our defense down to about, can we get our defense to around 3? To where you only have about 3 seconds to make a play? Because teams on us, they had all day long to make a play. Come on, man. Come on, man. So, the thing that I do like about David Bailey, if you're not going to go the route of trading and getting somebody out there, David Bailey can get to the quarterback. Bottom line. He can get to the quarterback. I got to have me a guy that can get to the quarterback. Somebody that gets there. I got to have a guy that can get there. And David Bailey, if you just said, go get the quarterback, he seems like he can go get the quarterback. Nisa said, we all know Skip only going to play nice for about 3 to 5 years with his co-host. He gets out of pocket on this show. We will definitely see some furniture moving. You are not lying. Yeah, he ain't going to pull that on this show, Nisa. Boy, he get messed up in there. Larry Golden said, if you add Bailey to our defense for what we already have, can you imagine with Parker? We have a contender without a question. Yeah, he can get to the... You get him, Larry Golden, because you can just say, hey, man, I just need you to get to the quarterback. That's it. I just need you to get to the quarterback. Get him on the ground. Man, we got all these quarterback pressures. Couldn't even get him to the ground, man. That's crazy when you think about it. How do you not? Football Fanatics, sacks or goal? Yeah, you got to get him on the ground. Got to get him on the ground. But Skip, man, he's good on here.
Rush and coverage working together.
So to your point, athletically, David Bailey's not really in Arvell Reese's pantheon yet. He's not the biggest or strongest. He just plays football at an extremely intense, high level
does.
that translates,
Yeah,
that will work in
exactly.
the National Football League. So if I want Rush the passer, I'm going to take him over Arvell Reese because I'm not sure about hand and dirt Arvell Reese. You can go Mike and Will and do all that, and you can blitz him, and he might be really good. But the key element is get to the quarterback, and I know David Bailey can do that.
Yep. I just think you go back to Matt Patricia. If this was a different coordinator, this is a guy that's been coaching ball in the NFL the entire time. I would just copy his game plan, which, like you said, was mostly off ball, but he walks up. And most of the NFL right now is like simulated pressures. You got 7 guys at the line.
Yep.
You don't know who's coming, and he's the guy that's going to be the best at all of that. So to me, he's just like a different player where game plan-wise, you got to make sure you have all eyes on Arvell Reese, and he's going to be lining up everywhere. So he can, and Dime's going to be on the line of scrimmage, but as an off-ball backer, I thought he did well enough in coverage. And I just think that when he was blitzing, he was just drilling linebackers or the running backs. Yep. He was setting the edge when he was as an edge rusher too. And I really like David Bailey. I think that he's the better pure edge rusher. Right. But he's also a little bit smaller. And the NFL is getting a little bit more back into the run game. And I think that Arvell Reese as a linebacker, I think he's going to give you a little bit more as a run defender. So I think breaking the tie there, I would just say call Matt Patricia, download the playbook, and figure out what he's going to do from there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if it's me, you know, you got to make a decision between Reese or Bailey. I'm probably going Bailey. But, again, showing that top 11, not counting the quarterback position, if I'm the Cowboys, I cannot disregard if I get at the number 3 spot, because I really don't think they're going to trade with the Jets. I think if they trade with anybody, it'll be the Arizona Cardinals. Because the Arizona Cardinals, you think about the 3 teams that we've talked about trading with the Cowboys. The Browns, they have a plethora of picks. The Jets, they have a plethora of picks. The Arizona Cardinals, let me check here. If there is one team that probably wants more picks, I would believe out of those 3 teams, it's the Arizona Cardinals. Let me see how many picks they have. I don't know. They could have a bunch too. I just hadn't checked. All right, let me see if I can get... Okay, so this is what the Arizona Cardinals have. Yeah, so compared to the other teams, when you look at the Browns and when you look at the Jets, they are no comparison. They are absolutely no comparison to what those other teams have. And this is why I believe if there is a team they're going to trade with, it's going to be the Cardinals. I mean, the Cardinals, they have 1 first rounder, a second rounder, a third, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, a seventh. So they basically have a very, very basic draft. But when you look at the Jets, hold on, let's see. Jets, I know they got more than that. At least I think they do. When you look at the number of picks the Jets have the number 1, they have the number 2 overall and the number 16 overall. They have in round 2, they have number 33, they have number 44 via the Dallas Cowboys. In the 4th round, they got a 103 and a 140 compensatory at 140. In round 5, they have a 179 compensatory. Round 7, 228 via Dallas, 242 via the Bills. So when you look at what the Jets have, I mean, man, come on. Man, you got 2 in the first and 2 in the second, and that's a crazy draft. That's a crazy draft. I mean, you got so much, man, you could trade back, get more picks and all kinds of things with those 2 number 2s. I mean, I'm sorry, those 2 number 1s and those 2 number 2s. You can do some dirty work. But when it comes to them, and I've already looked at the Browns, it is the Arizona Cardinals who got the most average draft. So if there was anybody that would be trying to get more draft acquisition, it would be the Arizona Cardinals. And so I believe that the Cowboys would be a prime trade partner for the Arizona Cardinals so that they could get some more draft capital, and the Cowboys could get actually who they want in the draft. I think that's kind of where we are. Hey, Danny, what's going on? But I still say in the grand scheme of things, I think there are 3 likely scenarios. 1, the Cowboys just stay at 12-20. And they just wait and see what happens. 2, they're going to trade backward at 12-20 or at 12 or at 20. 3, they're going to trade with the Arizona Cardinals. And I could see them trading with the Arizona Cardinals and not having to give up as much draft capital as you would trading with another team. I do. Frank, he says, I'm going to put my faith in Shotty and CP to coach up whatever Jerry puts out there as a contender. And again, they're going to have some input. So it's not just going to be on Jerry and these guys. This is what the Cowboys are picking with their CGW. Cowboys got a pretty good draft going here. 2 1s, a 3, 4, 3 5s, and a 7. That's a pretty good draft. Right there. It's a pretty good draft. So again, if there's a team that's going to be looking for a trade, I believe it's going to be the Arizona Cardinals. The Jets already got quite a few picks. Cleveland got a plethora of picks. It's probably Arizona. I think that's who they're going to be trading with. And again, I even give the Cleveland Browns, as you're putting their best, I even give that more validity than I would give the Jets. But the Cleveland Browns, I mean, the reason why, Bass, I don't think the Cleveland Browns are going to trade, is because the Cleveland Browns, not only do they need offensive line, they need a wide receiver. And if they can't get George Pickens from the Cowboys, and I don't think the Cowboys are going to give him George Pickens, because the only way that would happen is it would be some kind of Myles Garrett trade. But when you look at the Cleveland Browns, they got 2 1s, a 2, a 3, a 4, 2 5s, a 6, and a 7. They got a pretty good draft going here too. So they got 2 first-round picks. The reason why I do not see them trading backwards is because of this guy right here, Mekhi Lemon. It's either going to be Mekhi Lemon or Cornell Tate. It'll be Mekhi Lemon or Markel Tate. Unless somebody like Francis Mauigoa starts slipping down, they'll get him. But if he's not there, I think it's going to be Cornell Tate. Or it's going to be Mekhi Lemon. I think that is where they are going to be as far as the draft goes. So, I mean, when you think about what's more likely to happen, Cleveland Browns. I mean, not Cleveland Browns. It's the Arizona Cardinals. Yeah. I think it's the Cardinals. I absolutely do. I think it's going to be the Cardinals. And so Cowboys will probably get that pick, and they'll probably go up there and get David Bailey. I mean, when you look at Keldrick Falk, for example, I really think Keldrick Falk, I'm going to have to go back and do some stuff on Keldrick Falk. When you look at Keldrick Falk, if the Cowboys was to stand pat, if they wanted an edge, they could get Keldrick Falk. I'm pretty sure they could trade back and still get Keldrick Falk. Keldrick Falk is a true edge. He's not one of these off-ball linebackers playing edge rusher. No, he's a true edge. I mean, this dude is 6'6", 276 pounds. Yeah, he a true edge. He ain't like these other cats. He's a true edge. So if they were looking for a true edge, they could stand pat and get Keldrick Falk. I mean, what do y'all think about Keldrick Falk? I haven't done enough on Keldrick Falk because I've been looking so heavily at these top 11 players. But what do y'all think about Keldrick Falk? Keldrick Falk as an edge for the Cowboys. Poobie D said he'd rather have Jamad McCoy than Thieneman. I got something I'm coming up I'm going to do on Thieneman. I'll probably do Thieneman tomorrow, Poobie D. Man, I'm going to tell you, tape on Thieneman is pretty impressive. Thieneman is fast, man. Thieneman is very fast, got a very high football IQ, breaks up a lot of big plays. So, whew. But Keldrick Falk, man, 6'6", 276 pounds. That's a true edge right there, man. That is a true edge. Falk has a great run stop ability, but doesn't stand out to me as eye-popping. Again, if your goal is stopping the run, there it is. Theme said too light for a 3-4. Who are we talking about? Keldrick Falk. You're talking about Keldrick Falk. You think he's too light for the edge on the too light for an edge in a 3-4, even though people are saying putting these little off-ball linebackers in those positions. So, yeah, we're definitely going to see. But I really think the Cowboys, one, stand pat. Two, they're going to trade back at 12 and 20 or 12 or 20. Three, they're going to trade with the Arizona Cardinals. I will not be surprised if they trade back with the Arizona Cardinals. I'm not going to be surprised. I really think the Cowboys, it sounds like, based on everything we're being told, it sounds like the Cowboys are really wanting David Bailey. And when you look at the tape, he ain't Micah Parsons. But if you were to ask me which one of them looks more like Micah Parsons, I'm going to tell you that David Bailey looks more like Micah Parsons than Arvell Reese. Because he just looks like he's a pass rusher. The guy can rush the quarterback, hands down. So we're going to see what happens. But the draft, Nisi, I'm 100% with you. The draft is going to be so exciting. It is. Headhunter said we should have kept Osa if we're going to trade. We should have kept Osa if we're going to get Falk. Yeah, Headhunter, there's a lot of people still sour about that Osa Digizua trade. Pro Car Care said Falk played at Auburn, where I am from. He can rush the passer, but he wasn't asked to do it in 2025. Check out his 2024 tape. Okay. What's going on, Rico Jones? Good to see you, Rico. Robert Dudley said Bass, GP3 doesn't deserve to be a Brown Jets. After 1 year, he gave Dallas and Dak a CD nail. No doubt about it. Man, I'm telling you right now, Robert Dudley, I ain't putting nothing past the Cowboys. I'm not putting nothing past the Cowboys on what they can do on draft night. Man, I'm not putting nothing. I'm not putting nothing past the Cowboys. I think they're going to try to do what they can do to make this team better. So we're going to see what happens. Frank Lawrence said, I can't see the Cowboys allowing GP3 or Arby to walk out the door. Jerry has both of them on lockdown. No other team wants to pay. Yeah, they don't. They don't want to pay what it's going to take to get them. And yeah, we're going to talk about this tomorrow, this lockdown that the Cowboys have on George Pickens. I got a couple of more topics that I thought about today, but I said, no, I'm going to save those for tomorrow, especially what as light as this Cowboys content is right now. I mean, we out here dealing with rumors and everything right now, man. It's tough out here for a pimp. So we're going to see hopefully something to come down tomorrow about the Cowboys. But again, I think there is some smoke, and where there is smoke, there is fire, that we're going to probably see the Dallas Cowboys doing some kind of trade up with Arizona, or they're going to do some kind of trade to get somebody. I really think this is going to be the case. Freddie says, watch Dallas trade with Arizona for the third spot in the draft. I think so too. And everyone thinking they're going to take Bailey, and Jerry throws everyone a screwball and takes Jeremiah Love. Wouldn't shock me either, Freddie. Because again, there are a couple of players up there. There are a couple of players up there that the Cowboys could shock some people with. You know, just kind of piggybacking off of Freddie. What if Jerry went up there and got Jeremiah Love? And then not only what if Jerry went up there and got Jeremiah Love, what if Jerry shocked everybody and went and traded George Pickens to the Cleveland Browns, or traded what if you went and traded George Pickens to the Cleveland Browns, or who's this other team? What if you went and traded to the Cleveland Browns, gave them George Pickens, got Myles Garrett? You never know. Could get Myles Garrett. I mean, there's going to be some crazy stuff on draft night. It's just what it is. It's the draft. Somebody's going to do something that nobody expected. Somebody's going to do something that nobody expected. And I got a feeling that the Cowboys could get up there at number 3. I told y'all this the other day. Frank Lawrence, I've been saying this. Boy, I just think it would be hard for Jerry. Because I'm just telling you about me. I would be sweating bullets if you put me at number 3 and Jeremiah Love is on the board. He's the best player in the draft. I'm sweating bullets. I'm telling y'all right now, I'm sweating bullets. I'm sweating bullets at number 3, knowing I could get Jeremiah Love. Somebody got to talk me off the ledge. Somebody got to talk me off the ledge if I'm there at number 3. They got to talk me off the ledge because it'd be hard for me. It would be hard for me not to get Jeremiah Love, the absolute best player in the draft. And a running back like that could change life for an offense. Absolutely could. David Everett said the only thing he's trading for is love. Man, I'm telling you, it'd be hard. Danny, I'm gonna tell you something. We're gonna have to go back and revisit that Luka Doncic trade. I was having this same argument with my sons when they first made it. I mean, people calling Nico crazy around here, Danny. But one of the problems with Luka is Luka couldn't stay healthy in Dallas. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Football Fanatic said we're not trading that far up. I can see it happening. Because if you're not trading that far up, then there's no point in trading up. There's no point in trading up. I mean, number 6, you're only going to be limited to. You trade up to the number 6 spot. You got David Bailey. You got Daly and Bain Jr. maybe left out there. So I guess you could get Bailey, Bain Jr., and Delane. Yeah, I guess there would still be some people out there at that number 6 spot. What's going on, Tatiana? Man, you know what? I just caught on to that Bass Bust Down Tatiana, that Blueface song. I just caught on to that. That's right. But again, most likely scenario for the Cowboys. I'm going to lean toward right now. Most likely scenario for the Cowboys. Probably staying pat at number 12. Staying pat at number 12. Ty Simpson may absolutely work his way into the top 10. Ty Simpson works his way into the top 10 or 11, then we're in business. The Cowboys are going to get somebody. They're going to get somebody. It's going to be all good. So, I'm like Nisi, I'm very excited about this year's draft because I just think the Cowboys, I just think it's going to be a great draft. They had some bad drafts under Mike McCarthy. Last year, it looks like we had a pretty good draft. We still got to wait on Savon Revel Jr. to get healthy, though. Now we got to wait on Donovan Ezeracco to get healthy. But Ty Booker, man, we hit on Ty Booker. I think Booker is only going to get better. And then we're going to see what some of the Shamar James, and we still got to wait on Jaden Blue, Phil Maffa. We'll see how that all turns out this year. I think they're going to play better. The other players, I think they'll play better this year, but we're going to see. But if we're going to get this Super Bowl in 2026, no later than 2027, this draft man, they got to hit in this draft. They really got to hit in this draft. Freddie says, I'm dead serious about the only way I'd give up Pickens is if they give me all their picks this first year and their first in 2028. Yeah, man, I like that too. But man, you know what's so crazy to me? I still don't understand this, but I saw it out there and I'm like, this is, it makes sense, but it actually makes no sense. But there are a lot of people out there that are advocating for the Cowboys to franchise tag George Pickens 2 years in a row and pay him $60. I think it would be right at about 60 million. 60, 61 million over 2 years. Not understanding, or maybe they do understand and they just don't care. You're talking about 61 million coming off the cap in 2 years. You cannot negotiate a franchise tag. You can't say, "Yeah, man, we're gonna do a franchise tag and we're gonna put some void years in it, and we're gonna kick 20 million of it down here and 20 million of it into a signing bonus." You don't get to do that with a franchise tag. That is money straight off the bottom line. We really want to deal with $60 million off the bottom line, not including the Dak Prescott contract. I mean, you really take a lot of flexibility away from yourself if you're not willing to do a deal with GP. Now, I do believe, now, y'all tell me what y'all think. If the Cowboys plan on franchise tagging GP 2 years in a row, I just say go ahead and trade him. It doesn't make sense to keep GP and not do a deal. That just doesn't make sense to me. $61 million right off the cap. I'm struggling with that one. I mean, you are really taking a lot of ability to get players. I mean, I just can't see myself doing that for a wide receiver. If I want George, I'm not going to tag him twice. I'm extending George. Tatiana, I was just saying the same thing. I mean, this story about tagging George Pickens twice is crazy. If you're tagging him twice, trade him. You're hurting your own self. You just are. You just are hurting your own self. Bass said, notice how nobody's even mentioned Kalen Carson's name, no even looked his way. It's just all Revel focused. Yeah. Yeah, they're really banking on him. Dudley says Luka D was never the Luka Doncic will never be the Dirkster. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Man, I'm telling you, when they first traded Luka Doncic, I kind of understood it. The dude can't stay healthy and wasn't playing good defense for the Mavericks. I mean, he's a scoring machine. Generational scoring machine, but not a generational all-around player. Had a dad bod in Dallas, goes over here to L.A., gets in shape because he wants to prove to everybody that he can be in shape. Well, doesn't seem like it's improved his ability to stay healthy. CGW said George Pickens playing under the franchise tag this year is questionable. Pickens is the best wideout. Forget the draft wide receiver picks. Yeah, I do think the Cowboys, they're probably going to extend George Pickens. And then that'll be the bust the budget move. Extending him and Brandon Aubrey. I think Brandon Aubrey will be first, and then it'll be George. Danny said, gee, you're right. Luka can't stay healthy. He don't care. That's why he got hurt in Dallas. That's why Jason Kidd got rid of him. Well, they said that was Nico. But I think people might need to start owing Nico some apologies. Yeah, I'm with you, Football Fanatic. I wouldn't trade GP. Pro Car Care said, I think Jerry does not want to be bullied by the agent. It's the same thing that happened last year, Pro Car Care. Jerry resents these agents because the agent is becoming a popular source for players, so he is trying to prove a point in the future. Pro Car Care, I said this last year, I'm going to say it again. A lot of these teams are watching how Jerry deals with these agents because some of these agents are putting these teams in headlocks. And again, man, when you go look at the client list of David Mulugheta, the money is impressive. The players are not. David Mulugheta's player list, the contracts are impressive. But when you look at what these guys are doing for the teams, oh my gosh. It's tragic. It's tragic. I mean, I'm not telling you he's not doing his job. I mean, he's doing his job. But the players, oh my gosh, I'd be very leery of paying some of these players, man. I mean, look at this dude's client list, man. I'm not sure how accurate this is. But when you look at his client list, these guys are Super Bowl less. And they are some of the highest contracts in the league. He going to hit the bank on C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud keeps throwing away. He's thrown away 2 great defenses in a row. C.J. Stroud, the same one they said was better than Dak Prescott. How'd that work out? C.J. Stroud is going to get a monster contract, I'm sure. I still don't understand the Calvin Ridley contract. Calvin Ridley is getting $23 million? When you look at some of these contracts, I mean, the Christian Wilkins contract, humongous contract. I mean, look at him. I'm not saying because he's doing his job getting the money. Derek Stingley, $30 million. Derwin James, 19. Deshaun Watson. I mean, I would never, based on Deshaun Watson, this is one of the reasons I definitely wouldn't want to deal with him. $46 million, Deshaun Watson. And we already know he's got, look at this, got Jordan Love on a $55 million deal. Michael Parsons on a $47 million deal. I mean, when the dude, doing the contracts, yeah, that's cool. Where are the Super Bowls from the high-paid players? Where are they? Where are the Super Bowls? I mean, I can clearly see why. I can see why players would go to it. But I can see why Jerry Jones is kind of like, hey, man, bro, I mean, you're getting these players paid. But these players aren't necessarily paying dividends for the teams winning Super Bowls. It's tough. This is why Jerry made the comment that he made about George Pickens. Man, you can make more money without your agent. And again, I don't think people understand the offer that Jerry is making these players. And you can, I don't know if people want to call it, if they want to say that it's not ethical. Well, I'm going to tell you a little something about my ethics. Jerry Jones can get you money outside of a contract. Jerry Jones gets you money outside of a contract. Do y'all remember when Dak Prescott signed with the Cowboys? Finally got that extension? Dak had every endorsement deal. Y'all remember? People were mad at Deion Sanders. Why were they mad at Deion Sanders? Jerry got him all kinds of endorsement deals. Got with the Cowboys, Pepsi, Pizza Hut. Endorsements start coming out the woodworks. Darren Woodson, I think he still does things with Jerry. And he said he's had way more success off the field than on the field. I think he's talking about money. Emmitt Smith said Jerry has made him a millionaire many times over. Michael Irvin, I really think when Jerry is saying stuff like that, Jerry is saying, I can get you stuff more than just a football contract. I mean, I'm one of these people, I'm probably a little bit different because I love the Dallas area. I wouldn't want to go anywhere else, especially with these state taxes and millionaire taxes. I'd stay in Dallas, take a pay cut, get more guaranteed money, and make money on the back end with endorsement deals. That's just me. I'm not telling George to do that. I'm just telling you what I would do. Now, you make money with Jerry, Dominique. There is no doubt about it. You make money with Jerry. When Jerry put you in that club, now you're going to make serious money. There is no doubt about it. You're going to get some serious money. Dominique said Jerry betted against him. Nah, I don't think Jerry betted against George Pickens. I'm going to tell you, because Jerry was the one that wanted George Pickens, Dominique. No, I actually think Jerry betted. I think Jerry wanted to show the NFL he was smarter than everybody, because Jerry already knows. Man, no matter how we slice it, man, George Pickens is in a rock and a hard place. As much as I say they should extend George, if they choose not to do it, he's in a rock and a hard place. And George already has a reputation of people are saying that they want to, he's a little bit hot-headed. Nah, George can't afford. I just don't know if George can afford to go off the rails and do something to force the Cowboys to trade him. I don't think that would be very smart for George. I think George would cut off his nose to spite his face. It wouldn't make sense. Baz says, in Dallas, you'll make way more money in endorsement and sponsorships. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. You're making more money in Dallas. You're going to make more money in Dallas. I mean, all the way to jersey sales. I mean, if Michael Parsons isn't the example of what I'm telling you, Michael signs an extension in Dallas, I guarantee you Michael would have got 6, 7, 8 endorsement deals. Endorsement deals out the wazoo if Michael Parsons signs an extension with Dallas. Man, Michael Parsons is over in Green Bay. The only time anybody talk about Michael Parsons is when Michael Parsons says something about the Dallas Cowboys. Michael went over there, taxes and all that stuff, making less money in Dallas. Making way less money in Dallas when you look at it overall. Micah would have got more money in Dallas. The podcast would have been more lucrative. The podcast would have been still going. He would have been getting advertisements on the podcast. Man, Micah let his pride get it in the way of making a lot more money on the back end. A lot more money on the back end going with the Green Bay Packers. What's up, Dom? Man, I don't know, Dominique. I'm struggling with betting against Dak Prescott. I'm struggling with betting against Dak Prescott. And the reason why I'm struggling with betting against Dak Prescott is, then why sign him to an extension? Why sign him to an extension? If you betted against him, you had every reason not to sign him. His ankle got turned around backwards. Who's to say Dak Prescott would have played as good as he's played with Dallas with another team, which I think Dak would have played well. I don't know he would have played well, but I think he would have played well. I'm not buying he betted against him as much. I think what Jerry might have wanted was some leverage. But even then, he wound up losing again. He wound up losing again. I mean, he wound up paying him anyway. I don't know. I don't know. They got a very strange way. I'll be honest with you, Dominique. They got a very strange way of doing business. Because if he was ever going to bet against Dak Prescott, the injury gave you the out. The injury gave you the out. Why not take the out if you're betting against Dak Prescott? Because that's the point of the franchise tag. In case Dak falls off a cliff, in case Dak Prescott gets hurt. Why extend him? If you were betting against Dak Prescott, the injury meant you won. Why extend him? I'm not sure he betted against Dak Prescott. Yeah, and again, Michael got paid. But he's not getting paid like he would have got paid in Dallas. And Jerry was going to give him more guaranteed money. You're exactly right, Jeremy Betts. Parsons' contract, if you looked at it, actually had more guaranteed money than the Green Bay Packers contract. Their contract was bigger APY with $188, $47 million, but his $41, he had here was a better contract. There's no doubt about it. And this is the other part. This is the other part. How much do y'all bet Michael Parsons signs that extension in Dallas? Endorsement deals out the roof. Michael went to Green Bay even before he got hurt. Man, wasn't nobody talking about Michael Parsons no more. The only time anybody talks about Michael Parsons is when he's associated with the Cowboys. Then he said it's like the Aaron Rodgers discount double check like George Pickens, G. Yeah. If I'm George, I'm staying in Dallas. I'm just staying in Dallas, bottom line. Yeah, Pro Car Care said Michael Parsons' podcast has not been talked about in Green Bay. Yep. Who wants to watch it? He's not in Dallas. Green Bay is a blue-collar type of environment. Man, ain't nobody checking for no Green Bay Packers. I'm just being real. Richard Villegas, he said in Dallas, you'd be set for life. Yep. Yeah. But again, I'm just telling you, man, if I'm George, I'm staying in Dallas, but I do want a fair pay from the Cowboys if I'm George. If I'm George, I still say George Pickens is probably going to sign for around $36 million. I don't think it's going to be $40 million. I think it's going to be between 34 and 36. I know it'll be more than DK Metcalf. The rest of it, I don't know. Oh, okay, backbreaker. He said, Jill, you telling me you wouldn't trade Pickens for the 6th overall pick? Oh, man, I'd have to get some backbreaker. Man, I'd have to get something serious for the number 6. To trade George Pickens? Man, I got to get something serious. I got to get more than a number 6. I got to get more than a number 6, man. George is too valuable to the Cowboys at this point. I'm not willing to take a rookie wide receiver over George Pickens. I'm not willing to do it. Bass said the only people that care about the Green Bay Packers are the people that reside in Wisconsin, Green Bay. Bottom line. Frank Lawrence said, gee, the story was George Pickens came to Dallas because Pittsburgh shopped him and no other team was interested in him. No doubt about it. And a lot of people don't remember, though. When George got here, a lot of people are saying that Jerry didn't extend George. No. George said he didn't want an extension. George bet it on himself. And I believe it was David Mulugeta and George. And I believe David Mulugeta told him, hey, George, let's not do no extension right now. You're going to play with Dak Prescott. I got a feeling you're going to do way better with Dak Prescott. Go in there, put your head down, do what you're supposed to do. Dak Prescott has made guys like Cedric Wilson. He's gotten them contracts. If you go in there and you're better than Cedric Wilson, what do you think you're going to get? Dak will get you the ball. I'm sure this was a conversation. I'm sure, not even being sure. And nobody knew that when George came here, Lamb was going to get hurt again. And I'm not saying it in a bad way, but Lamb got hurt again. The last time he played through it, you can't play through a high ankle sprain. And so that in itself catapulted him. But George is the one who said he didn't want an extension when the Cowboys got him. He said he didn't want it. He bet on himself. Pro Carcast said, I think if you're loyal to Jerry and come to OTAs and camp, then if you get hurt, he will take care of you. I think so, because it happened with Dak and Michael Gallup. I agree with you. Yeah, Freddie, I agree with you on this too. Jerry's from that era. If you shook hands, the deal was done. Yep, I agree. Robert Dudley, I don't know what the cost of living is over there in Wisconsin, but yeah, he's living a boring life for sure. Yeah, Bass, and again, you got to think about it. The reason why nobody has offered George Pickens anything is they're not giving up 2 first-round picks for a wide receiver. They're just not doing it. The Philadelphia Eagles wouldn't do it for A.J. Brown. I don't know of too many wide receivers I'd give up 2 first-round picks for. I'm not giving up 2 first-round picks for Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Jackson Smith and Jigba. I'm not giving up 2 first-round picks for no wide receiver. I mean, I'm just being real. I'm not giving that up for a wide receiver. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing that for a wide receiver. I refuse to give up 2 first-round picks for a wide receiver. I think what Jerry did, Dominique, that is really smart, is I think Jerry knew George would play well. I think Jerry knew. Don't think he thought he would play that well, but I think he knew George was going to play well. And that if George played well, he's got him in the very scenario he has him in now. I got you for 2 years. There's nothing you can do. I think he absolutely knows it. Tony Nichols, appreciate that super chat. Tony Nichols said, gee, we know players make more in Dallas. The problem is the front office uses that and puts players through the back and forth. Yes, Michael played himself, but $40 million, nothing to sneeze at. Yeah, I agree with you. Unfortunately, Tony, after taxes, it's not going to be as much. Yeah, it's not going to be as much. But yeah, you're all right. They do kind of squeeze some players with that because, but again, man, with this new millionaire tax, Tony, if you thought they were using playing in Dallas is better before, shoot, with this millionaire tax that these Seattles and California have, shoot, I'm definitely going to use that now. I'm using that as a negotiation tactic now for sure. Backbreaker said, man, G, if you think Pickens is worth more than the 6th overall pick, I don't know anymore. I would say more than 85% of the GMs in the NFL will decline that trade if they would decline that trade if they had the 6th overall pick. I wouldn't trade George Pickens for the number 6 overall pick, especially I just couldn't do it. I can't subtract from my offense because that's going to put more pressure on my defense. And the last thing I want to do is put more pressure on my defense. They already got enough pressure. I mean, they're touting Christian Parker as the savior. So I'm not going to lessen the offense and some of their scoring ability because Brian should be better this year with Javonte, George up in this thing now 2 seasons in a row. He's talking about evolving the offense. We should see even a better offense this year. So I'm not gonna mess with that chemistry. I'm not going to subtract from my defense. I'm not going to subtract from my offense and put more pressure on my defense. I'm not going to do it. But again, Larry Golden said, yeah, I got to go. Want to thank you for having the best channel on YouTube. Good night. Appreciate you. Yeah, I'm about to get out of here too. Tony said that federal jock tax went up too. Yeah, man. Nah, I'm not playing in none of them states, man. I'm not doing it. Yeah, and you know what? Ursa Major, think about this. And you know what even is more crazy about all of this? It's obvious that Michael still wants to be in Dallas. It is so obvious. He still wants to be in Dallas. Lil D said Dak and CD give up a little money to keep Pickens. I agree. Which the contracts are already set up so they can have Pickens. Backbreaker said Pickens is a good wide receiver, but I know for a fact he ain't top 5 quality. Shoot. Nah, I can't agree with you there, Backbreaker. He better than Mekhi Lemon and Cornell Tate right now. And still better. If we'd have got Tetairoa McMillan, George Pickens is better than Tetairoa McMillan. He's better than Mekhi Lemon, and he's better than Cornell Tate right now. And George Pickens can run routes. Now, he can't run them like Chase, But again, I'm not worried about him running routes like Chase, nor am I worried about him running like JSN or Lamb. I'm not worried about him doing that because they can't do what George does. George is an absolute monster. How he kind of glides when he runs his routes, how he kind of sells something and then does something else, how George can, he can turn those short ones. He can turn those short runs into the big runs. I mean, he had a game against Cincinnati Bengals where he caught 4 passes for, what was it, almost 200, if not 200 plus yards. Nah, George different, man. Nah, backbreaker, George different. George different, man. Not a receiver in this draft or the last draft was better than George Pickens. George played with terrible quarterbacks. Now you got him a quarterback. George got him a quarterback now. Man, I appreciate your backbreaker. I appreciate all of y'all, man. Great conversation today. We're going to be back tomorrow. We got a couple of more, we got a couple of really great topics we're going to talk about tomorrow. Tomorrow, I think we're going to look at Dylan Thieneman, probably look at Keldrick Falk. Got something about Cam Newton and some things that he said. Also, let's see, I got something else we're going to deal with tomorrow, too. Yeah, we're going to deal some more with Jerry Jones, Dominique Pittman. We're going to deal some more with Jerry Jones. I think you'll enjoy that conversation tomorrow. But again, man, I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Got another couple of videos I'm going to try to get out tonight. But man, we're getting closer to that draft. And man, it is going to be exciting. The first night of that draft, I'm not putting nothing past the Dallas Cowboys because I believe they are going to try and make this team better. And I am so glad. I wish they'd have done this years ago, but better late than never. Because some of us, we are going to see another Super Bowl before we get out of here. Amen? And you young folk who love the Dallas Cowboys, y'all gonna see what it felt like in the 90s, man. Y'all gonna see what it felt like in the 90s. It is nothing like it when the Cowboys are winning, man. It's nothing like it. Peace out, Poobie D. I'm with you, Adam. GP's top 5. No doubt about it. He top 5. No doubt about it. All right, guys. I'll see y'all tomorrow on the next one. Until the next time, DC for real. God bless. Let's talk Cowboys and we talk facts. Peace.